Okay, we're back with another round of Throttle Freaks GT3 Fixed Racing League. This is round 6, officially on the back half of the inaugural season here at Throttle Freaks. This week we head to Circuit of the Americas. Circuit of the Americas is actually the only purpose-built F1 track in America. There's a couple road courses that they use, but as far as purpose-built, all-time, 365 days, 7 days a week racetracks, this is the only one. We're in Austin, Texas, home of Cowboys, race cars, and hopefully a whole lot of race action. Rich, how do you feel about Coda? I know you're in the booth here with me. Let's get your opinion on Coda. I know we've raced it a number of times in another league that we're in. It's a I don't want to say fan favorite. It seems to be a league favorite in that one. So we've done plenty of laps around here.
Yeah, that league's a Texas-based league, so that's not surprising. But I never used to like Coda, to be honest with you. We always used to run in GT cars, GT3, GTE. Pretty tough there, but I love it in Formula cars, and I think you're of the same opinion. I've run it many times in Formula cars. Seems to be not necessarily a fan favorite of the racers based on what the polling looked like in the Throttle Freaks League earlier this week, but it'll make for interesting racing. You've got huge elevation changes, twisty technical sections, high, long straightaways with lots of top end, and those huge sausage curves that can cause destruction at any moment in time.
Yeah, it's definitely a polarizing track. You seem to be either on the love it or hate it side of Circuit of the Americas. We talked off air. Formula cars, it's a blast. That's what the track was designed for, so it makes a lot of sense that it actually plays well for the Formula cars in versus the big lumbering GT cars. If you try and take a NASCAR around here, well, if you just watch the NASCAR races on TV, you can see how they abuse the track limits due to the
They don't really have track limits, I don't think. I think they just, as long as you're going around kind of the outside of and it's paved, you're good.
Yeah, if you attempt to make a corner, then we're all good. But let's take a quick look here at the schedule, see where we've been and where we're going. So we started off Red Bull Ring, went to Watkins Glen, Portimao to Circuit del Algarve, Mugello, and then last week at Road America where we saw a great race, and then we come off the way down to Texas to Circuit of the Americas. Next week we head to Road Atlanta. That should be a great one, always a fan favorite, Road Atlanta. And we head off to Circuit Le Mans, and again, another fan favorite. Sebring, always a good one. And we wrap up with Imola. So that'll be a little more tight confines compared to the last couple tracks just ahead of Imola. It'll be interesting to see how it works out once our drivers get to the track there, Rich. But we've got qualifying underway. See if we can hop on board with a couple of drivers and see how they're faring out there. Right now, we're on board with Brett Thurman, currently sitting in second place in qualifying, only 1/10 back of our pole sitter Tyler Graff. Speaking of Tyler Graff, before we get into any more of the qualifying, let's take a quick look at our championship standings and the drivers standings. Rich, why don't you take us through the GT3 Pro side of things?
Yeah, sure. In first place right now with a pretty big lead, we've got Tyler Graff, followed in second by David Bush III. Jason Park rounding out our top three, followed very closely by Jared Keane. Felix Feliz in fifth, then we followed by Jay Steffi, Brett Thurman, Andrew Trickett, Patrick Farrow, and Colin McKenzie rounds out the top 10. And then what we'll do is we'll just scroll through the rest of the field here and take a look and see your favorite driver there.
Yeah, we ran all the way back down to 20. We've had 20 drivers participate so far in the Pro side of things. Let's take a quick look now at the AM side, see who's leading the way there. And up top of the AM standings, we've got Wallo Walden, only 1 point over Kevin Berquist. Berquist's been our leader in the AM side the last couple of races, but has fallen down to second place, albeit only 1 spot back of Walden. But Jacob Fichtner not too far back, another 6 points back of Kevin Berquist. And then we go a little bit of a ways back, 12 points back to Nathan Doogie. So top three, still real tight battle. Then Doogie has Josh Sheps and Zach Mosley, only a point behind them each as well. And Robert Jeffries not too far back at 109. And then we round out the top 10 with Luke Davis, Drew Deweese, and Dave Jensen. So you can see still a lot of battles to unfold here in the AM side too as well. We've got 23 drivers who've registered points in the AM side of things. Right now, the team championship doesn't want to cooperate with us, but I can let you know that Lunatic Racing and I believe it's SGTE, or is it SRTE?
SRTE Black.
SRTE Black. They're both tied at the top of the standings. So real tight battles all throughout this one, from drivers to teams, Rich.
Yeah, and right behind SRTE Black, we've got BNO Cardamania, followed by SRTE Green and Riot Motorsports running out the top 5 in the team championship, Rob.
Yeah, real tight. With still this race, including the rest of them, makes 5 of our 10 race season. So, as I mentioned, we're officially on the back half of the season. The drop weeks will start to play into the championship standings. That'll kind of tighten them up as we go along. Where some of the drivers who have missed a week or two early on will be able to start to take advantage of some better performances here, and drivers that maybe didn't have a race that they all that we're happy about, they're going to be able to drop that off their points total and kind of seat themselves a little better in the standings. But on board here with our championship leader in the pro class, Tyler Graff, also found his way up to top spot in qualifying as it stands with a 2:06.9, our only driver right now to get into the 2:06s.
Yeah, and Tyler has had a fabulous season so far, and looks like he's got pace tonight at Coda. Very interesting. Tyler is sitting in first, but we got Brett Thurman just 11 100s back. Then David Bush the third. David Bush the third, and Felix Feliz and Ross Ortino. They're all within 1/100th of a second. So very, very tight qualifying here. Drivers seem to be very close on pace tonight.
Yeah, our top 3 you can see in the timing and scoring to the left there. Or sorry, top 5 is what I meant to say. Only separated by 2/10, and then even who's that? Jason Park, only 4/10 back in 6th place, still in there, but top 5 spots only separated by 2/10 on a track that is it's substantially over a 2-minute lap time, 2:06, 2:07 lap time. To be that close with 5 drivers is impressive to say. None the least, especially with the type of corners we have around here with those turtle curbs that you mentioned early on, Rich, where you catch one of those turtle curbs and it'll send you for a ride. As we see Jared Keene going into turn 1 here now. Let's hop on board with him, see if we can take a look at those yellow turtle curbs out there that our drivers are going to have to contend with as he heads through turn 2 and 3. You can see one of them on the left-hand side there, on the right-hand side, and another one on the left-hand side. Now they've removed those, or kind of rounded them down in real life, so it'd be nice if iRacing updated the track to feature that too as well, because they are dangerous. Not only can it rip the suspension off your car, but it launches your car, Rich, into kind of a lane or two off to the side. So if you got somebody who's racing beside you, you can just get tossed into them off of a tiny little bump.
I have had that happen to me, and that said, they do make for some interesting broadcasts sometimes with some unusual leaps and bounds of cars looking like they're on a pogo stick, as we watch Jared Keene now going down the very long back straightaway. Cars maxing out their top end here on this section of the track, as opposed to I think the front straight, which is very uphill. So Jared Keene going down into the hairpin, leading back into a little more of a technical section here.
Yeah, I just had a look at the overlay as Keene was heading down the back straight. Looks like he topped out at 154 mile an hour down that back straight. So it'll be interesting to see. I know we've got 3 of our top 4 right now are the Porsches. Actually, this field generally is more Porsche heavy compared to the Open Series race that we'll have a look at later on after this race. But the Porsche, generally, I've said it, I think almost every week, it's not a top speed machine. It lends well to the twisty sections here, but the long straights, it's going to struggle a little bit if the Porsche driver is trying to stay ahead of, say, the Lambo or the McLaren, where those are more top speed machines that really have the outright speed on the long straights. They can kind of gain an extra 3 or 4 mile an hour over the Porsche.
Yeah, that was what I found in my testing the other night. My first time running a GT3 car in probably a year or two anyways. But anyhow, we're going to back on board with Waldo Walden. Waldo having a great season thus far, right up there in the lead in the amateur championship. Waldo right now sitting 8th overall, looking to improve his time, looking to try and move up that leaderboard a little bit. Right now, he's second in amateur in qualifying behind Ross Ortino, who looks like Ross has got some pace back again this week.
Yeah, Sortino, we saw him win week one as an AM driver, and then kind of struggled a couple weeks after. He's had some wrecks, been involved in a couple things, and all the said and done, probably not the season he's wanted to have up to this point. But qualifying time has officially ended, but our drivers can finish their lap if they cross the start finish line before the clock ticked over the 15-minute mark. So we still got a couple drivers on track. One of them being Dale Peterson, who we're on board with, currently sitting in 11th. Looks like Dale's going to pull it into the pit lane, call it a day. So it looks like Drew DeWeese and Jacob Fichtner are only two drivers still on track, potentially looking to put in another lap. Fichtner sitting in 16th place. That's also fourth overall in the AM class for him. So he'll be looking to try and improve on his 208.69. Looks like he's going to call it quits, pull into the pits too as well. It wasn't a hot lap in his mind. And as we pop to Drew
Yeah.
DeWeese, unfortunately for him, looks like he just lost the back end of that NSX.
Yeah, it was a good idea by those two guys. If they're not going to improve on their time, make an entry into pit lane because that pit entry here is deceivingly tricky, and you don't realize how tricky it is until it's too late. So I hope all these drivers made some practice entries there.
Yeah, that entry line creeps up on you real quick coming out of that final, I guess it'd be the second to last corner, where you really have to commit over to the pit lane, which is tough because that corner itself, Rich, you're really coming in there at a fair rate of speed, and you're trying to really bring the car out as far right as you can. And then if you're trying to get back into the pit lane, you've got to now cross all the way back across over to the left-hand side and hope to God that there's no driver that's trying to tuck it up on the inside of you, or it ain't going to go too well, as we see Drew DeWeese kind of head into the final section here now. Unfortunately for him, the clock is going to run out and he's not going to be able to finish that time.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I've hit that concrete wall, but I'm also not going to deny it either, Rob. And let's take a look here. We've got, after qualifying, wow, Brett Thurman coming out on top, followed by Tyler Graff. Then we have David Bush III, followed by Felix Feliz. Ross Sortino rounds out the top five and is our top amateur, followed by Jason Park. Patrick Farrell is in seventh, followed by Waldo Waldwin in eighth. Andrew Trickett is in ninth, followed by Jared Keane in 10th.
And then we pick up Dale Peterson in 11th. Seb Gauthier is going to start beside him in 12th. Colin McKenzie in 13th. And then we got Herb Pineda in 14th. Alex Hillman in 15th. Jacob Fichtner in 16th. Robert Jeffries in 17th. And 18th spot finds Kevin Berquist. Luke Davis in 19th. And Neil Alexander going to round out the top 20.
Yeah, and filling out the field, we have Ian Cabana and Christopher Rhines running 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And that looks like that's it for our entries there, actually, Rob. The rest of the people didn't look like they took completed a lap, and we'll see who else shows up on the field.
Yeah, Sean Mulholland is the admin for the two leagues here tonight. Drew DeWeese was on track. We caught him at the end, but unfortunately wasn't able to put in a time. So he's going to start tail on the field. And we'll see if Andrew Venero shows up. He was in the session, but didn't come out for qualifying. So we'll see if he's going to race with us tonight. But we're just waiting for all of our cars to grid up. And then we'll be running another 35 minutes here of the Throttle Freaks GT3 Fix Series race. Usual setup, pit stop required, no need for tires. It's just an all-out sprint race for 35 minutes. And then hopefully we'll have a whole lot of fun. Then we'll head to the Open Series after this.
So I'll just say special congratulations there to Brett Thurman. Raced Brett for a long time, a lot of years, and nice to see him get pole here tonight. So looking forward to seeing a good race from all of these guys here, Rob.
Look at you, cushioning up to the pole sitter, Rich. Well done. Do you have a prediction for us? Who do you think is going to be real strong here tonight?
I'm looking. I got to be honest, yeah, I really like Brett Thurman, but Tyler Graff's been pretty tough all season long. But David Bush III in that Lambo, I think David Bush. I think it's his week, but time will tell. In 35 minutes, we will know.
Yeah, it looks like again another short pace lap heading into the last final corners. I'll be interested to see how Colin McKenzie does. We saw him with a strong showing last week, only to run out of fuel on the last corner and not able to make it to the line. So we know he's going to want to try and improve on that. But as you mentioned, David Bush III, be trying to close down that gap on Tyler Graff up ahead. But I think Felix Feliz, our driver starting in fourth place, he's been strong throughout the season. Always finds himself up around the front. I think this might be a good combination for Feliz, but we'll have to see. There's also Ross Sortino, who's been strong but suffered a lot of setbacks after race one. He'll definitely be another driver trying to redeem his luck here tonight in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, it'll be it's definitely going to be interesting. It looks like we've got two amateurs in the top 10 starting this one. We're just coming into there's the pit entry there we're looking at, and we've got one more corner to go before they head to that long uphill straight. Brett Thurman has got control of the field now, Rob.
Yeah, Thurman's going to lead them around. It's at his control. Looks like he's going to go out of the final corner, and we are underway. Thurman gets a nice jump over Tyler Graff. Looks like David Bush, the third, trying to move up on the inside of our championship leader, Tyler Graff. Bush is going to have the inside line into turn one, but Graff might be able to get back in the throttle a little earlier, running that outside line. Bush is going to try and force him out wide. Graff a little deeper onto the brakes, using the prowess of the braking on that Porsche. Going to get himself back up into second spot. Drop Bush third down to where he qualified. Into fourth, it looks like Ross Sortino moving up one spot ahead of Felix Feliz. So Sortino trying to pounce early to get himself up towards the front. He's well ahead of the rest of his AM compatriots as the next closest AM driver in 8th place. Waldo Walden, our AM championship leader. So Sortino doing what he needs to do right now to try and snatch away some points, but we're still very early on in this one.
Yeah, and very early on, just went through that very difficult, snaky, twisty section, and all our drivers looking like they're getting through clean as we watch Brett Thurman continue to lead the field, going up the very long back straightaway. Cars going nose to tail, a couple of going too wide, and I look to see some people trying to take advantage here under draft at the end of this straightaway. Tyler Graff is sitting in second. He's a little too far back to take advantage, but definitely wanting to be closing up that gap, not letting Brett getting too far ahead. David Bush, the third, falling a little far behind, but running up the inside. Ross Sortino making big moves on opening lap. Ross Sortino getting it done, and he's up to third.
It's 2 spots gained for Sortino, so he's looking to push early on, but David Bush the third giving a little nudge in the corner there. So I'm okay, if you're going to hop ahead, you need to go. I'm not going to Oh! And there we go. Sortino with the spin. He's going to get it gathered back up. Fortunately for him, he didn't have to wait for a whole lot of the field to go back by, and there was a bit of a gap there for him to pop in. But we mentioned that early on. He's been quick, but suffered incidents like that. Just a little mistake has been costly. That's going to drop him all the way down to 11th place. Not what he wanted to have for his opening lap here. And now he's got Seb Gauthier in behind him. Gauthier will be trying to make his move around Sortino as he's going to be battling with Dale Peterson up ahead in the pro class.
Yeah, Seb Gauthier had some equipment failure last week and cost him a little minor penalty. Seb looking to get back on track and erase memories of last week and move forward. Ross Sortino, very unfortunate with those not quite heated up tires, I'm guessing, Rob, and fortunate for him, as you say, he managed to get back on track on 11th place. We're going to go back up towards the front, though. David Bush, the third, is still sitting in third, but he has got Felix Feliz and Jason Park all over the back of him. A little bit of a 4-car, 5-car train here. Cars are cooking really different lines here coming through this nice twisty section. Exiting it, going into a steep downhill left-hander, and then coming around for the little hairpin, going on to the long back straight.
Yeah, well, these 4 cars have battled out between Bush, Feliz, Park, and Farrell. That's allowed our leaders, Thurman and Graff, to open up a gap. They're only 3/10 between Thurman and Graff up ahead, but it looks like they're content right now to kind of work together. Looks like Graff giving Thurman a little push down the back straight, trying to open up that gap over the chase pack behind it, I guess. In cycling terms, I guess they'd be the peloton. Rich trying to chase down the the rabbits out front, but we'll see if Thurman and Graff can continue to work together to open up that gap. But right now, that's exactly what Feliz, Bush, Park, and Farrell need to do, is kind of stick nose to tail here to run back down those top 2 Porsches up ahead. But right now, it looks like Feliz is going to try and keep the pressure on Bush. Doesn't seem to have much interest in staying tucked in behind and pushing the envelope, but Feliz falling back a little bit into Jason Park's clutches. Park with that yellow and blue Acura trying to make a move on Feliz, showing strong prowess, trying to make a move around that Porsche as they head into the final section. That's going to complete lap number 2 here, Rich, of our 35-minute race.
Yeah, I'd never tried that Acura until yesterday, actually, and I'm a big fan, Rob, and Jason Park doing a good job so far, and sitting in 5th place right now. Meanwhile, we're going back up. We're going to take a look. We've got Tyler Graff now up top, I believe, and not sure how he got by, but Tyler Graff ahead of Brett Thurman. I suspect it was at the end of turn 1. And here we go, yeah, as they're coming down the long pit straightaway up the hill, Tyler Graff getting the job done. I'm guessing Brett Thurman didn't quite get the exit he was hoping for.
That almost looked like Thurman was serving a slowdown at the rate of speed that Graff went by him there, and at the gap that he's opened up. I don't think he would open up that kind of gap just with a normal drafting overlap pass. I think Thurman might have got a slowdown, cutting the corner a little much on the last corner there. And we saw what happened. Unfortunately for him, that's going to drop him back into that battle that's being led around by David Bush III right now.
Yeah, very likely, Rob. I had about 4 slowdowns in my last race, so I really understand the frustration that Brett Thurman must be feeling. David Bush III, meanwhile, that incident with Brett having to slow down there has allowed him to close back up. The gap is now down to 1.2 seconds, and David Bush III, Felix Feliz, and Jason Park looking to close that gap down even further.
Yeah, they'll continue to battle, but let's pick up our AM championship leader right now, Waldo Walden, currently in 7th place, up 1 spot via Ross Sortino spinning earlier, and that's made Walden the top AM right now. Sortino dropped down to the 2nd place AM driver, about 5 spots back Walden, but Walden feeling some pressure from Jared Keane. Keane in that SRTE car behind, really putting a ton of pressure on the back of Walden's Porsche. He's got Andrew Trickett, Dale Peterson, and then Sortino not too far behind. So nice little pack here developing for 7th place in this.
Yeah, it's this league has shown time and time again all season long, as we're in week 6 now, that there's a good competition up and down the field, all the way at the front, all the way to the back, as we're going to go back here and we're going to follow along with Kevin Berquist. Kevin looking all over the back of Robert Jeffries, and Kevin is having himself a great season thus far and looking to continue that tradition and keep those points going.
Yeah, Berquist, our 2nd place sitter in the AM championship standings, a long way back right now from his championship contender Waldo Walden up ahead. So definitely Berquist going to want to try and find a way to get himself up towards the front of the field here without wasting much time. But jump back here to this battle between Peterson and Sortino. Looked like Sortino was trying to put some pressure on Peterson that last lap, but went a little wide, and now that's dropped him back about half a second off of Peterson. Peterson was able to hold on to that position, but just in behind them, Colin McKenzie, we mentioned not the race he wanted to have last week. Right now sitting in 12th place, up 1 spot from where he qualified, but for the most part, everybody kind of nose to tail at this point in time. Rich possibly trying to save a little fuel in the draft. We'll see how that plays out once it comes to pit stops, see if somebody's able to have a little shorter stop, possibly undercut the driver up ahead. But right now, everything's kind of status quo as Jason Park's fallen off the back of Felix Feliz, and then he's going to blow the second to the last chicane there. He's going to have to gather that back up. Patrick Farrell, unfortunately for him, wasn't close enough to pounce on that mistake by Jason Park. It would cost them both a little bit of time, and Waldo Walden now sneaking up into that battle.
Yeah, that section of track is very, very difficult, and multiple different lines you can take through there. The cars get way off balance, and just a little bit of an issue there for him. Continue following on with Waldo Walden. Waldo, once again, leading in the AM race this evening. Waldo having a decent start. He's up 1 position, sitting in 7th overall. It's very difficult to pass here, though, when you kind of get yourself in a draft train, and people are going to have to start making some aggressive moves if they want to close the gap. And as I say that, here we go. We've got Andrew Trickett coming up the inside of Jared Keane, trying to go up the inside. It's pretty wide up here, going 2 by 2 around the corner, and that's going to leave Jared Keane the inside coming into the next corner. Andrew Trickett going around the outside, and he holds him off. Nice pass.
Yeah, nicely done there. I think Keen thought the better of trying to force too wide through the S's. Generally not an advisable move. All it takes, as we mentioned early on, in qualifying, you nail one of those yellow turtle curbs, and your car is just going to get launched. You can definitely damage the underbody on the car, and that'll heavily affect your aerodynamics, especially on the long straights. It'll cost you a few mile an hour, and you don't want that out here at Dakota. You definitely need all the speed you can muster up.
Yeah, we're going to go back here. We got Colin McKenzie now. Colin McKenzie looking at the back of Ross Sortino. Ross had that little incident earlier on. He had some pace, but right now Ross sitting in 11th. Colin McKenzie looking all over the back of him. Colin with a great race last week until it wasn't, and looking to move up and get into the top 10.
Yeah, you see there that the Acura doesn't quite have the legs that the Ferrari has. Colin wasn't able to really utilize any draft there to close that gap, just kind of maintained where it was. And the Ferrari, generally a car that's a little better on the top end, along with the McLaren and the Mustang. But we don't have any Mustangs in the field here this evening. I don't even know if we have any Mustangs in the Open Series too as well. It's just a car that hasn't really popped into this these two league races that we've been featuring on Tuesday nights, Rich, where it's kind of surprising. The Mustang's been buffed a little bit the last season or two to make it more competitive with the rest of the GT3 field, but doesn't seem to be a fan favorite still at this point.
No, you would think a Mustang or a Corvette would be racing at Coda, but you would be wrong in this race tonight. Anyways, picking up Jason Park, going up the straightaway, very steep uphill climb into the braking zone. Lets the drivers get in on the brakes very late. Gravity helping them out quite a bit there. Big sweeping down here, right-hander follows that section. Just a beautiful view at Coda, looking through the twisties here. Tyler Graff continues to lead, followed by Brett Thurman and David Bush III, rounding out the top three.
Yeah, status quo for our top four, all more or less where they qualified, except for the move where Graff got around the Thurman, from what we believe was serving a slowdown. It looks like something might have happened to Dale Peterson moments ago. Let's see if we can pick up what happened to him heading into turn one, following, I believe that's Jared Keaton up ahead. Looks like Peterson, Sortino dives to the inside there, kind of takes that spot away from Peterson. Not sure if that was a late move or not. Peterson definitely wasn't expecting that. We'll see if maybe we can pick up a possible another replay angle here from Ross Sortino and see what kind of move he made here at the last second. So
it does look like a kind of a Formula One move, Rob. I've seen that in some Formula One races at Coda over the years, and real late lunge, and didn't quite get it slowed down in time. Took up the whole exit area of that corner, and Peterson didn't really have anywhere else to go.
Yeah, I suspect Sortino might have to make a trip to the steward's trailer after that one. He definitely, if it wasn't for Peterson being on the outside of that corner, I don't think Sortino was going to make it, as he was plowing into the mid corner by the time he tagged the side of Peterson. So we'll see how that's rolled on later. It looks like Andrew Trickett, something might have happened to Trickett as well after he got around Keane not too long ago, but trying to pressure Waldo Walden up ahead. See what happens to the silver and gold chrome portion of Trickett. Oh, he just gets in the back bumper of Walden, and that's all it took to spin the back end around. We'll see if anybody tags him here. He's kind of stuck in limbo in the middle of the track. Everybody kind of going to the outside. Trickett trying to back off the track. See, he's going to get himself cleared out. So well done by all of our drivers not to have any more of an incident there.
That was a tough spot to be in. Great job by everybody involved. Back up to the front. Tyler Graff's got about a 6/10 second lead over Brett Thurman. Brett about a second ahead of David Bush III. And then they've got almost a 2-second gap down to Felix Feliz in fourth. Tyler Graff, he's having a season of dreams here so far, Rob. Not much else I can say about his performance thus far. I think that QR code on the side of his car has been paying off dividends.
Yeah, it's definitely, I can't remember what he said, milk pop or something like that is what he keeps promoting each week, but I'll have to have a better listen. But yeah, Graff definitely having a season that he would have wished for at the start, no doubt. But if you've been following along the chat, it looks like he's been putting in a ton of practice each week leading up to this. So it's obviously paying off. But Brett Thurman not ready to let him go. David Bush the third, not too far back there too as well. They've kind of broken away from Felix Feliz and Jason Park in behind. So now we got a couple 3-car packs at the top of the field here. So it'll be interesting to see if the 3 cars can kind of link up together and work together, try and move ahead. Like we saw Graf and Thurman doing early on, working together, trying to build that gap over the secondary pack. But right now, it looks like Graf just kind of has the all-out pace up ahead. His fast lap time is only 1/100th faster than Brett Thurman, but his last couple laps have been about a half a second quicker. So see if Thurman's able to find that qualifying pace he displayed early on. Close back up on Graf.
Yeah, I'm not going to discount David Bush at third just yet either. David has proven time and time again that he's pretty good at that fuel saving strategy and saving the best of the car for the second half of the race. And we're only just about 15 minutes into this 35-minute battle here, and we're going to go on board David Bush third in the Lamborghini, going up the front straight, leading into the steep uphill into turn 1.
Yeah, you can just see what kind of elevation our driver set up there. I want to say, don't quote me if I'm wrong here. I'm telling you right now, but I think I've read somewhere it's like a 10-story rise up into turn 1. It might be at least 8 stories, but I think it's something like a 10-story rise up into turn 1. So it's hard to kind of get a feel for it on iRacing in the virtual world, but I've seen some pictures and videos of the track in real life from various angles. Obviously, I haven't been there, but it definitely is a substantial rise up into turn 1, Rich, and a blind corner into turn 1 too as well. You kind of really need to trust your knowledge of the track to make that corner and not blow it, go it wide.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Rob. I just asked Google, and it's 133 feet in elevation change. So that's about 13 stories. So quite a change in elevation, and very, very steep.
Yeah, it's definitely it's something you don't want to roll down on your side too often. But it looks like we got Jason Park trying to find a way around Felix Feliz. Park might be sensing that he's getting a little more pace than Feliz. Like to get around to the front of this. Oh,
Oh,
we we're have to take another look there. We saw the cars kind of weaving and bobbing around. I'm not sure if that was a little bit of frustration coming unglued there for Jason Park or not. If it was just a
I
bit of a mistake.
I would
But
guess he just kind of missed the braking marker there, and might have been so close he didn't see the brake. By the time he saw the brake lights, it was too late because he was all over the back end, and wow, that wasn't good.
it looked like Park just wasn't ready for Feliz to hit the brake zone there. As you could hear Feliz getting off of the throttle into the brake zone, and Park just didn't react quick enough, got into the back of him, and off he went. So we'll see if we can catch an onboard here from Jason Park's point of view and see what he was seeing here from the nose of his car.
Yeah, he just too late on the brakes, and sent Felix Feliz flying. And Felix very disappointed in what's happened there, and into pit lane and down to 18th, and he might be out of this race at this stage.
Yeah, definitely not sure what kind of damage he took. Definitely got the back bumper punched in a little bit. Looked like he might have rubbed the wall as well too off on the right hand side, but we'll see if he's able to mend that up while he's getting his service and pop back out. So we'll see how that works out a little later on. But say we got a battle here right now for that is 7th place. Ross Sortino is caught back up to the back of Jared Keane. Keane currently holding down 7th place, Sortino in 8th. But as we mentioned, Sortino himself might be taking a trip to the steward's room for his overtake on Peterson. He might see Jason Park in there too as well, pleading his case with the stewards. So right now it looks like our stewards definitely aren't going to get the week off. They're possibly going to have a couple incidents to look at, but right now Waldo Walden just ahead of this battle between Keane and Sortino. It looks like Keane might be closing up on the back of Waldo a little quicker than expected here. Sortino looking to the inside. Keane going to try and fend him off. They rubbed a little bit, but Keane going to drop back, and Sortino going to take over 7th place. Keane trying to fight back on the outside. See some debris up on the track now. That's going to affect the grip level for our drivers trying to get back into the throttle to exit that corner. Various lines through the last couple of corners there. You see Sortino going out a little wider, Keane taking a tighter line. almost had to get a little harder into the brakes than he wanted to without clipping the back end of Sortino as he came right across the nose of Keen. But that's allowed Sortino to open up 3/10 over Keen right now.
Yeah, Sartino's showing that he has that pace tonight. He's just he's definitely got some aggressive moves. He's just got to temper that down a little bit and try and avoid some incidents and get himself right back up there. We're gonna go back and follow Christopher Rhines. Christopher up 4 positions on the evening. Christopher sitting in 18th right now, with Ian Cabana following in behind him. So we take a look. Waldo Walden coming into the pits. We're 19 and a half minutes through this 35-minute. He's one of the earlier guys. Kevin Berquist coming in, and looks like right behind him we've got Luke Davis. So our pit window is open. Drivers starting to take advantage of that, trying to get
Yeah,
some free clean air, I think, Rob.
yeah, we've got definitely a couple drivers coming in right now. Looks like Waldo Walden is done his service and back out. That's going to file him in behind his championship competitor of, oh, sorry, that's Ian Cabana. He and Berquist running the same paint scheme. It threw me off for there for a second, but Berquist is in behind Walden as he was in the pits too as well. So those two cars back out on track, but Waldo Walden, our championship leader, down into 17th place now. Once the rest of the cars cycle through, we'll see if he's able to make up any time on his undercut attempt. But our top three still chugging away out front. They've opened up 7 seconds now over fourth place Patrick Farrell. So these three kind of working together, pushing the pace, not really trying to force a move on each other, close enough to kind of maintain a draft, save a little fuel. So we'll be able to see if Thurman and Bush able to save a little fuel over Tyler Graff out front once they come through the pit cycle, possibly leapfrogging him through pit cycles. But we've seen Tyler Graff been fairly proficient on his pit stop cycle time, usually one of the quicker drivers in and off pit lane. But tonight might be a different story with that long pit road. We'll see if Thurman and Bush are able to leapfrog them. I don't suspect we'll see them in this time by. They should still have possibly another couple laps of fuel. And no, all three of them going to pass by the pit entrance, go around one more time. Let's pop back here to have a look at Colin McKenzie. Now he's caught up to Jared Keane, trying to make a play for 7th place.
Yeah, Colin having a great race. He's up five positions thus far, and Colin all over the back of Jared Keane. Jared Keane getting a little bit loose coming off the end of that corner. That might let Colin, as you said, Rob, I just don't think that McLaren's got the top end to make any moves on the straightaway. He's got to get real tight through the twisty sections.
Yeah, the Acuras just don't have the top speed. The McLarens have the top speed. We've only got a couple of them out there in the field right now with Neil Alexander and Patrick Farrell. Farrell up in 5th place, but our highest place Acura right now is Jason Park, but we know he's got some damage on the front end of that Acura. But you can see where the Acura really shines is in the twisty section. You see McKenzie really putting the pressure on the back of Jared Keane, which is interesting because the Porsche generally superb in the twisty section, but looks like McKenzie able to extract a little more pace through the S's than Keane was in the Porsche. But you see how the Porsche just accelerates out of the corner much better with that rear engine, mid-rear engine layout. All the weight over the rear axle. You can just really hammer on the throttle out of the corner and know that you have a ton of traction there to make that move. But we'll see if McKenzie down the long straight here able to make a move on Keane or not.
Yeah, I took both the Porsche and the Acura out at Spa last night, and I hopped in the Acura after taking out the Porsche, and I was thought, man, this Acura, it has no brakes, like it just doesn't stop. And then I really hit the brake pedal hard, and boy, you know, it's got great braking, great handling. I'm a big fan of that car, actually both these cars, and obviously the field is too. As we look, I mean, our top two cars are Porsches, and we've got a bunch of them up and down throughout the field. We've also got several Acuras, so two of the favorites, and Jared Keane and Colin McKenzie, big examples of them.
Yeah, if you can get past the dustbuster vacuum cleaner sound of the Acura, it's a great car to drive. But man, does that thing just sound weak though in the cabin. Hopefully iRacing improves that a little bit. As we see, it's like Keane going to try and relieve some of the pressure of McKenzie. He's going to duck into the pits. McKenzie's going to stay out for another lap. See him get a little squirrely exiting out of the last corner, but he's got, I believe that's Ross Sortino just up ahead of him there, heading into turn 1 as we got a bunch of our leaders in. Looks like Brett Thurman and Patrick Farrell came in for their service. So Thurman Be interesting to see as Graf and Bush didn't follow him into the pit lane, so we'll see where he cycles through. I suspect next time by we'll probably see Tyler Graf and David Bush in for service, but David Bush, as we've seen in the past, usually kind of settles into a pace, kind of goes into like fuel save mode. So we might see if he's been able to save enough fuel where he has one extra lap of fuel or pace. But be interested to see. He's kind of closed the gap on Tyler Graf as Tyler Graf's kind of pulled back his pace the last lap up to a 208 flat versus David Bush III with a 207.7.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. Brett Thurman seems to have been spent a little more time in the stall than some of the other cars out, but his pit entry to pit exit time was pretty good. We'll see how Tyler Graf and Dave Bush III do in comparison, probably in the next lap or two, I would think. Meanwhile, David Bush III just been sitting in third all day long and not pushing very hard, but all of a sudden we see he's he's right up. He's 7/10 behind Tyler Graf, so he's been lurking, and I think he's been saving a little bit here, Rob. I think he's just biding his time, but we will find out shortly.
Yeah, he's definitely putting the push on as the fuel load has dropped out of the cars. That's one thing with the Porsche, where with the fuel tank at the front, once the fuel starts to burn off, the car gets a little more understeery, and it's a little harder to get the lap time out of, where when it's got the full fuel load, you've got that very even 50-50 weight distribution with the fuel tank on the front. You put in the hot laps, and look, you see their Graf pulls into the pits. Looks like Bush III going to follow him in, so it'd be the battle of the pit teams right now to see who gets out front. So Bush is going to hit his stall first, and Graf will have to go a little farther down the pit lane to get into his service. So we'll see who's able to have the quicker in and out lap time. We'll stay with these two cars for now. We'll keep an eye on where Brett Thurman is right now. Timing and scoring showing me they're going to come out just ahead of Brett Thurman, somewhere in around 5th and 6th place. So we'll see how it works out here. Both of them still into their stalls. It looks like Graf in and out early on, a couple tenths quicker than David Bush. So that's going to drop Bush back into 2nd place. And let's pick up Brett Thurman as he's coming into turn 1 there. So our top 3 reunited again. And they're going to continue on this battle for the last, say we got about 8.5 or so minutes to go in this one.
Tyler Graf, exceptional pit stop and great time in pit lane altogether. Doing what he needed to do to maintain that lead. Brett Thurman dropping down to 3rd. We're going to go back and follow Patrick Farrell. Patrick Farrell coming up, it looks like around the, getting all over the back of Ross Sortino. You're not going to be passing here, but you definitely want to be applying pressure. Get all the pressure you can, so when you get into an area where you can pass, you've got a great exit and you've got that opportunity.
Yeah, I'm looking, it's showing that Patrick Farrell had it. So he just caught the right quarter of Sortino, got him loose a little bit there. Both the drivers had to back off. That's going to allow Walden to get around, Colin McKenzie to get around, and drop Ross Sortino back just in front of Jared Keane. So let's see how that works out. Oh, McKenzie goes wide. Oh, comes back on. It's like Sortino giving him a little shove there.
Sortino getting very aggressive there on that corner entry and pushing Colin McKenzie right outside.
Yeah, I'll have to take another look at these couple incidents here once things settle down a little bit. It'd be interesting to see Patrick Farrell going out way wide, trying to fake a move on Jared Keane. As Keane looks up the inside of McKenzie, things getting a little argy-bargy in the tail end of the top 10 here as our drivers really starting to putting their elbows up and kind of knees out, feet forward.
Yeah, this almost looks like WWE here. This is not elbows out. This is elbows up and down and all around. Yeah. Good, close racing altogether, though. We've got 5 cars battling as hard as possible. Colin McKenzie not too happy, I'm guessing, but he's all over the back of Jared Keane.
Let's see if we can see what happened to Patrick Farrell heading into turn 1. Looks like he just went wide into turn 1, had to slow way down, and that allowed Sortino to get up into the inside. We'll go back live and I'll take a quick look to see if we can see what happened between McKenzie and Sortino. There we go. Here's another look at what happened here between McKenzie and Sortino. McKenzie makes the pass around. Sortino looks to the inside. So he runs McKenzie out wide. McKenzie comes back on. They tag. and then they tag again. It'd be interesting again to see how the stewards rule on that. We've seen Sortino throw it deep underneath a couple cars already this race, so he's definitely been aggressive on his overtake attempts. So interested to see how the stewards rule, but that's allowed Waldo Walden to move up into 5th place. Our top AM driver and our current championship leader in the AM category. He loves to see that argy-bargy stuff behind him. It's allowing him to open up a gap over Ross Sortino of 5/10.
Yeah, Russ had that early, I think it was lap 1 or lap 2 incident, fell back, I think 7 or 8 spots, and now he's made all of them back but one. He's back up to 6th place. So Waldo Waldman, our AM championship leader, Ross Sortino, our race 1 winner, battling it out, going down the back straightaway here.
A tight battle here. This is from 5th place all the way back to, I believe, at 9th. So from mid top 10 all the way back to the tail end of top 10. The battle here is to see Sortino trying to send it deep under the brakes there too as well. He's probably not serving himself well with the aggressive braking and entry that he's doing. He's going to be heating up those front tires, and it could be a reason why we're seeing him dive deeper and deeper into the corners, as those tires are probably starting to overheat. Let's take a quick look up front, as it looks like David Bush III's gotten around Brett Thurman. That's moved him up into 2nd place. It's going to put him in between Thurman and Graf. We'll see if he's able to try and chase down Graf up ahead, but Graf's opened up 1.3 seconds over Bush III in 2nd.
Yeah, Bush III doing what he does, and which is making up time in the pits. David Bush III making the easiest pass possible, doing it on pit lane. Still a little bit out of draft range now, though, and he's going to have to start closing that gap on Tyler Graf III very, very quickly if he wants to have an opportunity for that win.
Yeah, no doubt. Looks like something happened to Drew DeWeese on pit exit here. Not sure if he lit it up into turn 1 on cold tires as he exited out. No, looks like he's just going to come to a complete stop as the leaders come through there. Jacob Fichtner as well. Something happened to him. Looks like that green, or I guess he's SRTE black with the green and black paint scheme. Just going to lose the back end, heading onto the back straight. Definitely not the way you want to try and maximize the exit out of there onto the back straight to get a good run, but he'll have to gather himself up. Let's spot back in here and see this battle between Sortino and Walden. This is our still our closest battle on track. That's for 5th place. Also our top 2 AM drivers in the AM category.
Yeah, and both of these guys have, they've had great results throughout the season in the amateur category. A race winner, and I'm not sure if I don't think Waldo's had a win, but he's at the top of the heap in terms of season points. We watch Ross Sortino getting very, very close and deep to try and take it around the outside. Outside's not the preferred line, but making sure he's all over the back of Waldo Walden, looking for any opportunity to make up and get into 5th place here.
Yeah, you see him looking left, looking right. All the aggressive moves, though, is going to bring Keane, McKenzie, and Farrell right back into this battle. As they battle, it's going to cost them time, and it allows the cars in behind to close that gap. But we'll see if Sortino makes the move. He's looking left, looking right, trying to force a mistake out of Walden, but we've got 2.5 minutes to go in this one, so it'll be this lap plus one more will all our drivers have left. So they're heading on to the front straight for the second to last time. Looks like McKenzie looking to the inside of Keane as they head down the front straight. We'll see who's able to get the pass done into turn 1. We see the drivers on the outside of turn 1 have been able to kind of maximize the throttle usage around the outside, being able to carry a little more pace. As we see Keane diving in a little later, not quite early enough back onto the throttle. McKenzie to the inside, but we'll see if they're going to go 2x2 in through the S's. Looks like Keane's going to back out and fall in line in between McKenzie, right in front of Patrick Farrell.
Yeah, you got a lot of runoff on the exit of turn 1, and Keane making use of that, but Colin McKenzie not afraid to keep his foot in it and getting that move done, up 6 positions, and I believe our hard charger of the day.
I believe, yes. It looks like McKenzie is our biggest mover and shaker right now, but looks like David Bush III has closed that gap on Tyler Graf. He's cut half of that gap out this last lap. David Bush III running a 207.4 to Tyler Graf's 207.9. So we see Bush closing up on the back of Graf there, as they've got about 1.5 laps less getting down to the nitty gritty here. Busch realizes he needs to really put that push on if he's going to try and get around Graf. Graf doing the best to try and keep that Porsche out in front. Thurman kind of falling off the back of this battle, 1.7 seconds back. Looks like he's going to have to settle for third at this point in time, unless something were to happen to our top two. But you see Busch the third closing that gap even more. He's got it down to about 0.6, but can't quite close it any further. We'll see if he's able to utilize the draft as they get around to the front straight. He's got two big straightaways left, Rich, to try and close that gap and make a move on Graf. But right now, Graf trying to make that car as wide as he possibly can to not allow any moves from Busch the third.
Yeah, and wow, going wide was Tyler Graf. That let Busch get up another 0.2. He's less than 0.6 behind Tyler Graf the third. Sorry, Tyler Graf having basically the shortest time in the pit stall. Maybe got a little bit light on fuel and have it saved maybe that last lap. And Dave Busch third, pouncing at any opportunity right now. Only about 3/4 of the lap left to go, and it's now or never time. He's got to get all over the back going into the last back straightaway.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It looks like Busch the third falling back a little bit through the S's. The Lambo not quite as nimble as the Porsche through the S's. Really has to wait for the high speed section to let that V10 under the Lamborghini Huracan really sing. So we'll see if he's able to close enough to get a nice run on the back straight. You can see there, wow, Busch closing that gap up 0.4 now on the back of Tyler Graf. This is where we're really going to see if Busch has closed that gap to make a move as they're heading on to the largest straight on the track here. We'll see how it works out into the braking section. Looks like Graf going a little left, trying to break the draft of David Busch the third. Long run down to the next braking marker. We'll see if Busch makes the move. Looks like he's not quite close enough to do it unless he really wants to try and dive bomb Graf.
Yeah, I don't think David Busch he's just going to sit there for now and hope for an opportunity later. But that would have been probably the best chance on this lap. And if he's going to get that move done, it's going to be real difficult from here. David Busch the third having a great race, but still about 0.5 second behind Tyler Graf at this stage with just a few corners remaining.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the last set of corners. Busch third using an off track there, going out as wide as he can to maximize the run out of that corner, trying to find any ounce of extra space that he can as they head into the final couple corners here. This is going to be where it comes down to here as we pick up our 2 leaders into the second to last corner, penultimate corner. Busch running wide again, trying to make up any pace he can. Final corner. Looks to the inside of Tyler Graf. Looks like Graf going to hold him off as they head to the line.
Whoa,
nice
whoa.
win for Tyler Graf. Able to hold off the charge of David Busch III. We'll pop back here to see what's going on between Sortino and Park. Looks like Waldo Walden has fallen way back off this battle. We'll have to see what happened to him in a few moments. But McKenzie going to come across the line behind Sortino. Keen Farrell in tow, and Herbert Pineda not too far back. But I'll quickly look and see if I can see what happened to Waldo Walden as he was in that battle, and then he is just gone all the way down to 11th place as it stands.
Yeah, it was Waldo was having a great race. I'm not sure what happened. Wow, we had an exciting race there, Rob. Let's take a look on board, and Ross Sortino making a late charge and a late move on Waldo Walden there, and looks like he got that move done quite cleanly.
Yeah, that was Sortino getting by Walden, and then McKenzie gets by Walden too as well. I wonder if he was light on fuel and had to lift a little bit in the last lap, as we see a number of cars getting around him early to the inside. I think it was just a matter of fuel.
Yeah, Waldo, he spent even less time in his stall than Tyler Graf, so that may have been the issue, Rob.
Yeah, no doubt. Unfortunate for him, but we're still waiting for a couple of cars to cross the line. Looks like we've got some cars out of fuel here, Rich, trying to make their way around.
We may have a wait.
So we'll have to see.
I wonder if they went one more lap than predicted, and that's caused a couple of issues for some of our drivers.
I'm not sure. There's Drew DeWeese heading across the line now, and he was the last one we were waiting for. That's going to make it official here at COTA Circuit of the Americas for round 6 of the GT3 Fixed League. Tyler Graf brings it home 0.2 ahead of the charge of David Busch. In second place, Brett Thurman, final step on the podium. Jason Park in fourth, Ross Sortino in fifth. Our top AM driver, Colin McKenzie, in 6th. Jared Keane brings it home 7th. Patrick Farrell in 8th. Herbert Pineda in 9th. Dale Peterson rounds out the top 10.
And we had Alex Hillman in 11th, followed by Andrew Trickett in 12th. Kevin Bergquist finished 13th, followed by Neil Alexander in 14th. Robert Jeffries was in 15th. Waldo Walden dropped down to 16th. Luke Davis in 17th, followed by Ivan Cabana in 18th. And then we had Christopher Rhines and Seb Gauthier rounding out our top 20.
And Jacob Fichtner in 21st. And we got a few cars that did not see the finish line. Drew DeWeese finished by 5 laps down. Felix Feliz, Sean Mulholland, our admin, obviously didn't see the grid. Neither did Andrew Venero. So it looks like we've got a couple drivers in the waiting section here. Let's have Richard Swindells catch up with our 3rd place finisher, Brett Thurman.
Oh,
Hey, Brett, congratulations on the 3rd. I'm guessing, though, maybe you were hoping for a little more tonight?
yeah, I'm a little disappointed, guys. I practiced a lot and I had more pace, and that Anna cut got me, and I had to give up the lead, and it was kind of all downhill from there. And then I overfueled, and disappointing, but I'll happy to take a 3rd.
Yeah, it was. We were cheering you on. It was great to see you on pole. We saw you lose 2nd there in the pits, and that was disappointing. But nonetheless, your practice and persistence this season is paying off in spades. And another podium, another interview. How's the season gone? Has it been as good as you were hoping for?
No, last week was a disaster, and but I'm getting out what I'm putting in. So this week I put in a lot, and I'm talking to you guys, so I'm happy with that.
Uh, Congratulations on 3rd. I know you're disappointed, but it's it's always good when you're on the podium. Anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
I'd like to thank my team. Always been good. They're getting me out practicing, and I got to say congratulations to David and Tyler. They did a great job. So I'm happy to lose to them. So anyway, thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Cheers.
That was our 3rd place finisher, Brett Thurman. Obviously a little disappointed from where he finished. Was hoping for a little better, but final step on the podium. Not much to shake a stick at there, definitely. But let's have a chat with our 2nd place finisher, David Bush III. D. Bush, you put a strong charge on to Tyler Graff there at the end. Looks like maybe one more lap you might have been able to snatch it away from him. Was that everything you had for him the last couple of corners?
That was absolutely everything I had. Those cars pull on straight lines so hard. I gave it everything I had. On the 2 laps that I pushed the most were the last lap and the pit entry lap, because those were the 2 laps that I did not have any draft to try and work with.
Yeah, it looked like the Lambo definitely wasn't happy through the S's section. We were following the last lap through the S's. Looked like Tyler Graff was able to open up a couple tenths on you through there, but the high speed sections looks like the Lambo was able to close that gap a little bit. We head to Road Atlanta next week. I can't remember. It's been so long since I drove the Lambo there. Is it a car and track combo you feel real confident about? Or is it something you really have to work at this week?
I am very confident for Road Atlanta, and if it hasn't changed, the Lambo is typically very sporty at Road Atlanta. So
Ex-
high hopes.
Excellent. Strong championship going right now, 2nd place in the championship. So hopefully we see you back up top again next week. Anybody you want to shout out before we give you the boot?
I just want to take this moment to, once again, I've apologized to him multiple times, but last week, Colin's fuel calculation was completely my fault. And I cannot put into words how I felt when he ran out of gas last week.
It happens. He had a strong showing again this week, so it's probably out of his memory for now. But congrats, D. Bush. All the best to you next week at Road Atlanta.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That was our 2nd place finisher, David Bush III, and we'll bring our championship leader, Tyler Graff, in the booth to have a chat with Richard Swindells.
Well, Tyler, is this getting old or what?
No. Well,
Congratulations.
thank you. It's definitely definitely nice to see just some harder work and a little bit more discipline with my routine in the sim paying off. So that's always fun. It was a good race. I was just hanging on to my rear tires that whole last 7-ish laps, even before the pit stop. David did a great job, I think, at taking care of his tires, and I don't know if there was a few more laps, I think he would have got me. I just didn't have anything left, and I didn't really have any more brake bias to use. So
Did you have any fuel left? Where I was just curious because you were really quick in your stall.
I had like 0.2 left at the line when we finished. I actually ran out coming into the pits. I think David did too. So, yeah, it was really close. Brett kind of got screwed by a cut track that apparently exists in that corner. I don't think he gained an advantage, so that's kind of crappy. But yeah, good to have another good result.
Well, congratulations. That just increases your points lead. How's Road Atlanta? What are you thinking of for next week? You think you got a chance?
It's a strong track for me, but that's a strong track for everyone. So that just might be one where if I'm in a good spot, you kind of just might have to ride. And with the points lead, we can kind of afford to not take as many risks now. So, I mean, if it's in front of us, we'll go for it. But right now, I think we got to kind of look towards closing this out.
Yeah, smart thinking. And it's time for your shout out, Tyler. Let's hear it.
Hot Milk has Corporation Pop out June 27th, and I wrote it down today. That's why we know.
Wow, you got the date right. Congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Okay, that was our championship leader and race winner, Tyler Graff. So well done on him. We will be back in a matter of moments, Rich, as we switch on over to the Sprint Series coming up in a few moments. Stay tuned. Okay, Rich, we are back with the Sprint Series. Same track, same cars, open setups this time versus the fixed setups that our drivers could only modify their brake bias. And, well, that's about it. This time we've got the drivers out for an extra 5 minutes, 40 minutes in the Sprint Series versus the 35 minutes in the fixed series. Qualifying underway. We only got a few moments left here in qualifying, so we'll take a quick look here while we get a moment at our championship standings. First up, we'll take a look at the Pro category. Leading away is Fernando Jaquez, 151 points, 10 points up on David Mendonça. In second place, Kevin Simpson, only another 5 points back in third place. Emmett Lindquist in fourth place, only 1 point back of Simpson, and Jim Feliz 4 points back of him in fifth place. So still a tight battle in the Pro side of the Sprint Series here, Rich, with a number of drivers still vying for positions in the top 5.
Yeah, it's not over just yet, and many races still to go. In the AM standings, we've got Matt Stadnick sitting out front, followed by Corey Sircone. Then we had Joey Costello in third. Luis Grion and Devin Brock round out the top 5.
Yeah, a little more spread in the GT3 AM category compared to the Pro side, but still a number of positions up for grabs in the AM side of things too as well. But and looks like our standings for the championship doesn't want to show, but I believe Rich has them open in front of him. Give us a quick rundown on where our teams are standing.
Yeah, right now we've got Solpic Precision Racing with about a 34-point gap over second place SRTE Orange. Followed in third with a 19-point gap over CRT Chabao Racing Team. Followed in fourth by SRTE Green, and then in fifth by Chabao Racing Team AM.
Yeah, so some tight battles there too as well. And it's going to go down to the wire as we're on the first race of the back half of the season for our sprint cars. We just saw the fixed series not too long ago, but right now Kevin Simpson sitting up top of qualifying in his Solpec Precision Racing Acura. He's got looks like teammate Emmett Lindquist in behind him, the two of them kind of using the draft, working together. We saw Simpson had to settle for third place last week behind Feliz and trying to remember who he was battling with. I believe that was Jaquez. They were battling down to the last few corners. Simpson running a much higher downforce setup than the other two drivers, wasn't quite able to close up on the gap on the two of them. But looks like this week, Coda, as he warned us last week, Rich, Coda was a strong track for him. So not all that surprising we see him up top of the field with a 205.4 right now.
Yeah, Kevin Simpson doing a great job in at Coda, and most of the drivers aren't fans of Coda, but Kevin is, and that's in evidence here by his qualifying position thus far. Take a look at Corey Sircone, our second place championship points leader in the amateur division. Corey having himself a very strong season, and Corey right now is sitting in fifth overall in qualifying.
Yeah, strong showing for Sircone right now, ahead of a number of our pro drivers. Actually, we've got an AM driver in second, AM driver in third, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. And we only actually have two of our pro drivers in the top 8 right now with Simpson and Feliz. And we don't find another one until all the way back to ninth place, where we find Josh Spears.
Yeah, and I guess that goes to show you different tracks, different drivers like things better than others. And Coda, not necessarily a fan favorite, but it's a favorite of a lot of our amateurs.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt, Rich. His timing and scoring has just kicked over. That's going to end qualifying. And once it resets here in just a moment, we'll have a quick look at how qualifying shaped out. There we go. Kevin Simpson going to take pole spot with a 205.4. 4/10 back is Matt Stadnick, also our top AM driver in second spot. Corey Sircone going to start third. Luis Grullon in fourth. Jim Feliz, last week's winner, in fifth. Joey Costello in sixth. Sean Carmody in seventh. Blake Ziti going to start in eighth. Josh Spears in ninth. And rounding out the top 10, we see the return of Dene Tavares.
Yeah, and at 11th we have David Mendonça, followed in 12th by Emmett Lindquist. In 13th, Fernando Jaquez, followed by Adam Ostrich, 14th. Douglas Corey, Devin Brock. And then we have Pete Manjaya in 17th, followed by Ivan Bisano in 18th. Fernando Torres and Artie Mercedes round out our top 20.
Yeah, smaller field here in the sprint series, but they've no doubt performed in most of the races we've watched so far, Rich. It hasn't been for the lack of competition, that's for sure. It'll be interesting to see the intermingling of our pro and am drivers out here tonight, see who has a little more pace. We're going to have a bunch of pro drivers from 9th to 13th. They're definitely going to want to try and get ahead of the am drivers, trying to chase down Jim Feliz and Kevin Simpson up ahead. But we're just waiting for the rest of the grid to grid up, and then we'll be getting underway with our Throttle Freaks GT3 Sprint Series race, round number 6. There we have it. 40 minutes of open setup sprint series. Just waiting for, looks like Sean Carmody, our last car to hit the grid, and he's just made his way out there. So in a matter of moments, the iRacing Porsche pace car will start to lead the drivers around, and we'll be heading under green. Rich, Kevin Simpson will have control of the field.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a very exciting race. We've got a bunch of different manufacturers, but Acura's very strong showing here so far, Rob. Looks like Acura's making up 6 of the top 8 drivers out on the course tonight, and wow, that's kind of surprising based on what we saw earlier in the fixed series.
Yeah, this the sprint series seems more Acura dominant than the Porsches. We've got still a number of Porsches in the field, but again, the vast majority of the cars, the Acura with a couple McLarens here, a couple Ferraris with the Fernando Jaques and the Ney Tavares driving them. Although they are a little farther back in the field, we've really seen the ebbs and flows of the Ferraris this season, where certain tracks we've seen Tavares and Jaques really up towards the front with outstanding pace in the Ferrari, and we've seen other tracks like Portimao and here tonight where the Ferrari doesn't seem to have the legs compared to the rest of the GT3 field.
Yeah, I saw it looked like Jaques was considering a car change, a manufacturer change before this race, and the last minute he went back and decided he'd stick with Ferrari. I'm not sure if that was the right decision, but I guess we will find out in about 40 minutes time as we're rounding down the last 2 corners before this race gets underway.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'll have to go and take a look, but I think there's actually a substantial points deduction for changing cars. It might be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 points, but Jaques is out front of the championship standings, but that might have put him I think he only had about 10 points over David Mendonça, so that would actually dropped him down to about 2nd, 3rd, or 4th possibly standing. So I guess he had to weigh the pros versus cons of switching a car this late in the season, and I guess he chose to stay with the Ferrari, as you mentioned.
Oh, Kevin Gibson just waiting, and now he finally goes, taking a little different approach than we saw in our fixed series, but Kevin Gibson getting the jump. But it looks like Matt Stadnik is holding on tight on the outside line, and we've got cars going almost 3 wide going up into turn 1. So far, everybody look like they're getting through relatively cleanly.
Yeah, nice clean start there from our sprint series drivers. Looks like everyone's so far more or less single file as they head into the S's. First time by Simpson already out to almost a 1-second gap over Matt Stadnik in 2nd place. It's a strong showing for Simpson right now. He was a half second quicker than the rest of the field in qualifying. Looks like right now he's converting that qualifying pace into a strong showing in the race. But right now he's trying to chase away from Matt Stadnik, Corey Stracone, fellow SRTE teammates, although one on the orange team, one on the green team. But no doubt we've talked to them in the booth after races earlier this season, and they are in comms with each other as well during the race, working together. But just in behind looks like Joey Costello trying to make a move on Luis Grullon to take over P4.
Yeah, Joey Costello already up 1 position, looking for a 2nd position on this opening lap. Great start for Joey here. Joey going down the inside, and it looks like Joey is going to, no, he's tucked him back in, it looks like here.
Yeah, that Acura didn't quite get the run on the McLaren. The McLaren is definitely one of the quicker cars in a straight line in the GT3 series, where the Acura kind of loses its breath a little bit on the top end, and we saw that Costello was able to get enough draft to make the move to the outside, but didn't have enough to make the move around as Luis Grullon is going to lose the back end That's going to drop him all the way down. He got tagged by a couple cars. Like fairly light bump, shouldn't have caused a whole lot of damage, but not the way Gruyan wanted to start out his race here. Cold tires on that McLaren, and kind of bit him in that really sharp off-camber corner where he tried to get back on the throttle a little too early.
Yeah, I lost 8 positions on that little exchange there. Unfortunate for Lucas after a great qualifying and start, but get on board here with Sean Carmody. Sean in a battle here with Nani Tavares all over the back of him, and look at this train of cars going up the uphill straightaway. Looks like we've got a nice move to the inside by Nani Tavares. Nani trying to get by, and looks like Nani is going to hold off. Yes, it looks like Nani's got Carmody right now, but Carmody's battling back on the inside. Nani going back, and now he's going to have the inside, taking all of the track and then a little bit of the curb. Are they going to go too wide? This is not advisable, but they are going too wide through the S's, Rob.
Yeah, Tavares almost clipped that turtle curb on the inside. Some had to really kind of drift out wide. I think Carmody kind of backed out a little bit not to get the two of them wrapped up in something there. But while they battle in behind, Josh Spears moving up really quick. Just jumped ahead of Fernando Jaquez and got himself back up a spot there. Jaquez up 3 spots in behind, but it looks like David Mendonça might have just had a bit of a excursion off track here. We'll take a quick look here at what happened to Mendonça, and also looks like he tapped his teammate Emmett Lindquist in the back end. We had team on team no papaya orders there, and that one amongst the Solpac Precision Racing team is on board here with Lindquist. It looks like they just kind of slowed up ahead. Lindquist and Spears battling, and Mendonça just kind of came in a little quicker than expecting. Tagged the back end of Lindquist. It looks like the rest of our drivers were able to get through there fairly unscathed, but it looks like the front bumper of Mendonça's bumper now has turned into a little bit of a memento on the side of the track for our fans out there.
Souvenir for somebody, and that's not what that team wanted to see. That moved them right back to the back of the pack, 19th and 20th positions, and it's going to be hard to battle back from there. Going to follow on Emmett Lindquist now at the back of the pack. Emmett trying to make moves and trying to get back up and gain back some of those positions he lost earlier. Going back up, and he's very disappointed, I'm sure, at this stage of the race. He's got Artie Mercedes just ahead of him, big train of cars, and COTA can be a very tough track to pass. When look at the string, we've got 8, 9, 10 cars all within a second and a half of each other.
Yeah, real tight battles all throughout this one, but the story of the race so far, Kevin Simpson, 2 seconds now over Matt Stadnik. He's definitely found the pace in that Acura up ahead, and he's putting it to good use, but Stadnik looks like he's pulled away from his teammate Copart in Sircone, opened up a bit of a gap over Corey Sircone too as well. Joey Costello sitting in 4th place, up 2 spots from where he qualified. Nice strong showing for Joey Costello right now, but he's got teammate Jim Feliz not too far back. Feliz, last week's winner, showed some strong pace at Road America. He'd like to convert that pace into a strong showing here at COTA as well. Currently sitting final spot in the top 5, but a strong showing as we got 3 SRTE orange cars. Got a nose to tail here, Rich.
Yeah, they all look the same for some reason, Rob. I don't know why. And, this SRTE team, orange, green, black, whatever color, they've been strong performers all season. These guys have worked together. They've done a lot of practicing, put a lot of laps in, and the team results are, paying off. All that work and effort is not gone for naught.
Yeah, no, we've talked to a number of them as well, and they mentioned that they work together during the week, trying to find pace, trying to help each other out. So there's definitely been a ton of camaraderie from the SRTE team. But right now we see another one of their drivers, Sean Carmody, on the SRTE black team, trying to put some pressure on Nene Tavares. Carmody down 1 spot from where he qualified, Tavares up 3 spots. So Tavares currently holding one of those spots that Carmody lost, and Carmody would like so much to take that back, but he can't battle too much. He's got Josh Spears sniffing on his tailpipe not too far back in that black SimCity Racing Porsche.
It's Josh Spears, beautiful looking number 84 Porsche, going up the straightaway here. Just a big long train of cars here. Everybody kind of filed in solo positions, a little bit of a gap, and nowhere to make a move. You got to be a lot closer than that. Everybody just trying to maintain their positions to this stage, and just try and get a little bit closer to the guy in front of him.
Yeah, we still got a long way to go in this one. We're not even at the 7-minute mark of this 40-minute race, so still plenty of time for anything to happen. We got a couple teammates here, Luis Grullon and Fernando Jaquez, together trying to find their way through the field. Grullon down 7 spots. We saw him earlier on the first lap, unfortunately losing the back end of that car, swinging around. So he's on a recovery run, but he's got his teammate Fernando Jaquez, and we've seen Jaquez currently our pro leader in the championship standings. We know he's got the pace throughout the season. We'll see if he's able to muster something out of that Ferrari. Even when they haven't found the pace in qualifying in the Ferrari, they usually start to find a way to get towards the front, as we've seen their teammate Nene Tavares up 3 spots into 7th. Jaquez as well up 3 spots into 10th. So looks like Grullon going to try and make the move around Jaquez. This might be a little bit of a strategy here. Try and use the top speed of the McLaren to pull the two of them up to Josh Spears up ahead.
Yeah, that definitely looked like a little bit of team play going on there, because Jaquez just moved over and allowed him to take the draft and gain that position. I'm going to follow on with Devin Brock. Devin all over the back of Emmett Lindquist and Adam Ostrich. Devin, one of our favorite paint schemes out here in the Throttle League Sprint Series. We love the Castrol car, Rob. And Devin sitting in 16th spot right now, where he started. No gains, no losses, and having a great battle with Emmett Lindquist ahead.
Yeah, Lindquist, the car that we saw with the little team-on-team, no papaya rules with David Mendonça. So Lindquist on a bit of a recovery run there now, but tight battle here between Brock, Lindquist, and Ostrich just up ahead. And not too far ahead of them, we see Fernando Torres, Douglas Curry. So a bit of a 5-car battle here for 12th all the way back to 16th place. So looks like a strong showing here between our drivers. Nobody really kind of able to leap ahead, as we see Lindquist move to the inside. He's going to go around Ostrich. That's going to move him up into 14th place. Still 2 spots down from where he qualified, but we know those McLarens have a bit of pace. So we'll see if Lindquist is able to chase down Fernando Torres up ahead. We haven't seen Torres the last couple rounds here, but he's back again this week. Is just ahead of him. Douglas Curry took a little bite out of those turtle curves. Saw the front end of that Acura go up. It's definitely not going to be all that happy with running over that turtle curve. Hopefully didn't cause any damage to the underbody on that car, but you see just behind Lindquist putting a ton of pressure on Fernando Torres, trying to take away 13th spot.
Yeah, Lindquist has got a lot of pace tonight, and he's got over a second of pace ahead of the guys, more on the guys ahead of him, as he's making a move down the inside. They're almost 3 wide here, and Lindquist getting that job done. Now Lindquist following on the back of Douglas Curry going down the long straightaway, but that exit allows Fernando Torres to climb all over the back of him. Drivers having a little bit of discussions on track, it seems like, Rob, but still battling hard, and so far everybody's getting through relatively unscathed, and Fernando Torres up the inside trying to make a move on Lindquist, but no, Lindquist holds him off.
Yeah, unfortunately there wasn't quite enough room there for Torres to make the overtake. Had to back out, caught a little bit of the curbing that basically deleted any exit speed he could have maintained through that attempted pass. He's going to try and tuck in behind again, try and find another spot to attempt to maneuver on Lindquist, but Lindquist looking out his windshield now at Douglas Curry up ahead, trying to find a way to capitalize on that position from Curry. You see varying lines through this corner here. There's a number of lines you can take through there depending on the setup in the car. It's almost flat out. These GT machineries, though, it's going to be a little breathe of the throttle as they head through there into the final corner. We'll see what kind of run that Lindquist gets on the front straight. It potentially could make a move around Curry into turn 1.
Yeah, Lindquist is he's driving angry almost. He really wants to make up. He's almost back to where he was, but he's definitely got the pace for more at this stage of the game, and we've still got 29 minutes left in this race. Lots of time to take opportunities and make advancements.
Yeah, we still have pit stops to cycle through to as well. More or less the same as the fixed series, where drivers won't need tires, just a little splash of fuel to get them to the end. A little more fuel load in these cars versus the fixed setup. As you see Lindquist looking to the inside of Curry, unable to make that move. Their backs out a little bit. Gonna let Curry gather that position up, try and force a mistake from Curry. Fill his mirrors on the left side, fill them on the right side, make him wonder what you're gonna do, and then try and pounce through the short little straight shoot here. We'll see if McLaren ducks to the inside, thinks about it. Curry goes defensive, holds off the charge of Lindquist. You saw what Lindquist did there a lap earlier on Torres. Lindquist was trying for the same move again, but he's going to have to settle for a run down the straight, try and make that move on Douglas Curry up ahead.
Yeah, that move didn't work last lap. It doesn't look like it's working this lap either. And the drivers are battling hard, and at both times in that turn 11 corner, and leads up to that very long straightaway. So if you don't get that extra speed, whoa, we got Douglas Curry going way, way wide, and that lets Lindquist come and take advantage. Emmett Lindquist taking advantage of moving up to 12th place.
Yeah, it looks like Fernando Torres is going to try and capitalize on Curry's mistake too as well, but unable to make the move around the outside. But while Curry gets his bearings back under him, that's going to allow Emmett Lindquist to pull away. We see Torres with an alternate line through that last corner, running a little wider, cost him a little bit of time. Adam Ostrich closing back up on the back of Torres' bumper up ahead. Devin Brock not too far back. Artie Mercedes, Arvin Bassano, Pete Magia all in behind, as this is turning into a looks like an 8-car battle now for 13th place all the way back to 19th place here, Rich.
Yeah, great close racing here. We've got all these cars sitting here nice and tightly packed. Meanwhile, our leaders are sitting, we've got Kevin Simpson right now with a big gap over second place Matt Stadnick, who's got a nice gap over Corey Sarcone. So the battles are all back here in the midfield and towards the back of the track right now. And we're watching Josh Spears having Luis Carrillo. Luis having a little incident earlier on and charging hard, trying to get his positions back. Luis is down 6 positions on the day, but charging harder every single corner, and looks like he might have the move done here, Rob.
Yeah, the McLaren showing its prowess in the quick high-speed sections there. Not much Josh Spears can do there. Relegates the position to Luis Grullon up ahead, and now he's going to try and defend Fernando Jaquez in behind. And now he's got the draft of Grullon that might be able to keep that Porsche in check and not really fall to the clutches of the Ferrari. But they've got that battle up not too far ahead of them, where Sean Carmody and Nene Tavares, Blake Ziti, and the likes are all up ahead. They can try and chase down that group up ahead there and battle for spots a little higher up in the top 10. But as we take a look at our SRTE Orange Parade, led around by Joey Costello right now, Jim Flees, Blake Ziti in tow, Nene Tavares, Sean Carmody. That's the battle for 4th place all the way back to 8th.
Nene Tavares definitely wanting to dispatch at least one of these black and orange cars. The SRTE cars, strong racing performance tonight thus far. Joey Costello coming into the pits early. It's only not even 15 minutes into this 40-minute race, but perhaps looking for a little bit of free track area.
Yeah, gonna try and get himself into clear air. Might have been feeling a little pressure from Feliz and Ziti, teammates in behind, or maybe there's just a strategy. Try and cycle the cars through, see how they come back out, see if they can link back up again, but try and undercut the competition. But as we see, our leader, Kevin Simpson, now got that gap 4.6 seconds over Matt Stadnick. A masterclass of how to drive at COTA here being put on by Kevin Simpson. He is holding true to what he said last week, where COTA is one of his favorite tracks and what best performing tracks, showing us how it's done. Our only driver that's dipped into the 205s right now in race pace.
Yeah, Kevin's just on easy street right now. It's just a matter of not making any mistakes and continuing to go on as we watch Sean Carmody, Nene Tavares up the inside, Sean Carmody trying to go around the outside. This is going to allow them to get into the draft, and Sean Carmody 6th place right now. Nene Tavares in 7th, up 3 positions for the day.
Yeah, Tavares had a run on the inside of Carmody, was unable to make that move stick though. Carmody was able to get into the throttle a little bit quicker than Tavares, hold on to that spot. So we'll see if Nene Tavares is able to try and make another attempt at snatching that spot away from Sean Carmody. Tavares up 3 spots from where he qualified. So strong showing at this point in time. Our biggest mover is Fernando Torres, as he stands up 6 spots into 13th place. So strong showing from him right now. He's kind of in that pack a little farther back being led around by Douglas Corey. That's Torres, Ostrich, Brock, Mercedes, Bassano, and then Costello is kind of closed up on the back of that pack, but only via of just having his pit service.
Now we're almost 17 minutes into this. Sean Carmody just up one position, and we're going to go back up. We got Jim Feliz still leading around. We've got Nanny Tavares now coming in. Lots of interesting pit strategies. Not a bad call, I think, for Nanny. He was got some huge pace, and he's just really looking for some clean track and no interference, and get some good quick lap times on his own out there. Josh Spears in the SimCity Racing number 8 Porsche, or 84 Porsche, going around the opening corner here. He's got Fernando Hackes on the back of him, trying to hunt down though Luis Grion very fast tonight, and Luis looking for more than where he is right now. Luis sitting in 7th.
Yeah, this battle's been kind of stagnant here with Gruyon getting back to 7th place after getting around Spears. Hackes in tow. Not the strongest showing for the Ferraris here this evening, but looks like Hackes closing the gap on Spears a little bit through the S's. Spears going to try and hold off the charge of our Dominican driver, Fernando Hackes. He would love to get around Spears and link back up with his teammate, Luis Gruyon. Try to utilize the top speed of that McLaren and try and pull him up further in the field, but it's a a rough showing right now for the Ferraris. Definitely not a track that they feel real strong as. We see Fernando Torres looking to the inside. Douglas Corey, he's trying to make that pass on Corey that Lindquist made on him a few laps ago, unable to pull it off. Compromised his exit a little bit, and that's dropped it back into the clutches of Adam Ostrich. See if Ostrich got a nice enough run out of that exit of the corner and down the straight to make a move on Torres, but there he goes. He's sticking the front end out. We'll see if he tries to fleet the pass. Just showing the nose, trying to force a mistake from Torres. Torres didn't bite at this point in time, but runs a little wide on exit. Ostrich is going to ride a tighter line, try and make the move around the outside, but Torres defends it well. And in behind them, RD Mercedes, just loving what he's seeing up ahead, ready to pounce if something were to happen between these two Porsches battling it out.
Yeah, these two Porsches showing us different lines, and all the different lines you can take. Torres battling very hard with Ostrich. Ostrich trying left, trying right, but Torres holding him off for now.
Yeah, this battle continues on. This is actually our tightest battle on the track right now. It is for 12th place. 11th and 12th place, sorry, as we see. Looks like Ostrich going to duck into the pits, try and relieve some of that pressure from Fernando Torres. We'll see how that plays out once Torres comes in for his service, but Torres going to keep running down the front straight. That's going to allow Artie Mercedes into the draft of Torres as well. He's got teammate Ivan Bassano not too far behind. So we'll see if they can chase down the red Porsche of Fernando Torres up ahead. But meanwhile, up front, still leading the way, Kevin Sibson showing us how it's done. Jim Feliz here, a little closer battle with Blake Zidi, as Zidi not too far behind Feliz, and then they've got their teammate Sean Carmody up there too as well. Looks like Carmody was able to kind of close that gap a little bit over the last few laps. We saw the wiper going on that Acura of Carmody, kind of clearing off a little bit of the rubber off the front windscreen. Almost gets into the back of Zidi's tailpipe there, almost spun his teammate into that final corner. Wasn't quite expecting Zidi to check up as much as he did. Carmody had to get on the binders, but thankfully for the two of them, they didn't spin each other.
Yeah, we don't need to see any more team-on-team incidents like we saw earlier tonight. But, you know, maybe that was to wipe off some of the rubber. Maybe there was a little bit of sand or gravel up on the windscreen because these drivers are battling hard and using all of the track, and in some cases a little bit
Yeah, COTA definitely a track where the track widths or track limits are very tight, but there is some spots, Rich, where you can really kind of take advantage of some of the track widths or track limits, sorry, to get a nice run in and out of a corner. You got to kind of know the corners you can do it on, because they're not all the same. It's one of the complaints actually about COTA amongst a lot of iRacing drivers is track limits don't really seem to be consistent from one corner to the next. There's some corners where you can, as we see the drivers going over the red and white curbs, there's some corners where you can really put about half the car over that curb and you don't get flagged for an off-track incident. And then there's other corners where you can't even really kind of go halfway onto the curb, onto the AstroTurf, without getting flagged for 1X. So it'd be nice if they kind of cleaned that up, made it a little more consistent all around the track, and actually even made them a little lenient in some corners where it I almost think the track limits force some mistakes with drivers trying to make sure they're not running into an off-track scenario and getting tangled up with the car they're battling with.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but it's the same for all of them. So, you know, the driver who puts in the most practice time and learns those limits and learns where those limits are, they're the ones who are going to be able to excel here. And Kevin Simpson up front definitely has been doing that and is excelling. So pick it back up. We've got Artie Mercedes. Artie is following Fernando Torres. These are close. Pretty much the closest I think we've got on the track right now, these three drivers. And, wow, Artie's getting all over the back of Fernando Torres at this stage, getting a little hungry, looking to make some moves here.
Yeah, Mercedes got through that section much better than Torres up ahead. We saw him take, I'm going to say, probably a half a second out of the gap between he and Torres up ahead. So it'll be interesting to see if Mercedes gets a strong one onto the straight. Looks like a little bit of oversteer out of that black, purple, and white Acura getting onto the front straight cost him some exit speed. Torres should be able to hold off any charge by Mercedes this time by, but Mercedes showing that he's got a little more pace in that Acura than possibly Torres in the Porsche up ahead. Right now, Torres having to deal with a couple of triple threat of CRT Chibao drivers of Corey and Torres Corey ahead, Mercedes and Bassano in behind. So Torres a little bit of a man on an island here, having to deal with the three Dominican drivers all teamed up from CRT Chibao.
Yeah, and there's a couple more of them just ahead and behind that group too. So he's all on his own and battling hard and doing quite a good job. But Artie Mercedes looks like he's got about a half a second quicker lap time, and then Torres. So it's going to be tough to hold him off, but doing a great job thus far.
Yeah, well, it looks like Mercedes going to duck into the pits. He's going to try and utilize the undercut to get around Torres. Looks like teammate Ivan Bassano coming in too as well. So we'll see if the two of them can kind of link up together and head back out. But that's going to make our closest battle on track. This trio of teammates of Feliz, Ziti, and Carmody still trying to work together to maintain their position in the top five. Carmody just outside the top five looking in, but we haven't seen a pit stop from any of our top 12 drivers at this point in time. So we're expecting them in anytime soon. We're nearing the 25-minute mark of the race with just over 15 minutes to go. The field window is going to be starting to close very soon on these drivers, Rich.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting race compared to a lot of the other ones. We've seen a fair amount of drivers come in a lot earlier than we normally would see, and I think that's just the nature of COTA. You know, COTA's it's a different track than what these drivers are used to seeing, and they're just looking for a little bit of clean track, get away from all the traffic, all the pressure, and go out and do some hot laps on their own. I think that's why we had some of them coming in early. Kevin Simpson, meanwhile, Kevin doing a fabulous job. He's got us over a 6-second gap to second place Matt Stadnick at this stage. Kevin just leading from the very drop of the green flag. He held up the whole field as late as possible, and once he went, there was no looking back, and nobody's been able to get anywhere near him. Fabulous job by Kevin tonight. He promises, he delivers.
Yeah, excellent showing. It'll be interesting to see how our drivers adjust next week, Rich, going from the wide open spaces here of the Circuit of Americas to the tight confines of Road Atlanta. Definitely Road Atlanta, a fan favorite, as we heard a number of our drivers in the fixed interviews, Tyler Graff specifically saying that it's a favorite of his, but it's also a favorite of everybody. So we expect all of our drivers to come real prepared next week for Road Atlanta, just from sheer familiarity with the track. But it'll be interesting to see how they adjust from the wide open spaces. A lot of runoffs here at COTA versus the tight confines and the really raised curbing of Road Atlanta. When iRacing rescanned Road Atlanta a number of seasons back, it might be about 2 years now since they updated Road Atlanta and brought in the raised curbs to reflect for the track in real life, how it looks. It really kind of changed the landscape of the track, where you can't really abuse the curbing as much as you could before without getting the car unsettled. So some of these cars, the Acura in particular, isn't a big fan of the curbing, Rich. I don't know if you noticed it when you drove it earlier this week, but it's a car that definitely doesn't like to be banged around on the curbs, and we've got a ton of Acuras in our Sprint Series race here. So it'll be interesting to see how our drivers who are kind of filling out the top 6 right now with 5 of the top 6 cars being Acuras, how they fare next week at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, and this week it looks like, basically our AMs, with the exception of Kevin Simpson, are pretty much dominating in the top 10 and doing a great job. I think Road Atlanta is going to be a little bit different, Rob. Road Atlanta, like you said, very tight. I would expect to see a little more contact, not deliberate contact, but there's only so many places to pass, and the track is only so wide. So all the drivers are very familiar with that track, and all of them think they are going to excel there. And unfortunately, they all can't. So it's going to be a lot of close, hard battling. As we pick it up, we've got Blake Zeedy, Sean Carmody all over the back of him, and nice close racing teammates following behind Jim Feliz at this stage of the race.
Rich, I just noticed something, and I'm not sure how many weeks it's been there or if it's just up this week. Blake Zeedy playing to the meme of his name in his profile picture.
That's
there.
Awesome.
Blake Zeedy holding a box of Zeedy pasta. So well done, Bake Zeedy, otherwise known as Blake Zeedy. Hats off to Blake for updating that profile picture. He just won the Driver of the Day award just based on that. I'm just going to arbitrarily give it out to him. There's no discussion. He wins it.
I second.
So
awesome, Blake. Thank you very, very much. You made our day.
Well done, Blake. As we see the battle renewing here between Devin Brock and Adam Ostrich, both drivers that come in to take their fuel and no tires, but Brock pushing Ostrich through the final corner there, trying to get him to hurry up and go as they got David Mendonça up ahead. The two of them trying to chase down Mendonça. We saw tied up in a battle earlier on. Looks like he's got a front bumper back on that Porsche of Mendonça. Not the day he wanted to have, definitely. But trying to make the most of a bad situation as we see Douglas Curry popping back out behind these drivers. He was leading that pack around, so a little slower stop for Curry. It's going to drop him back behind the battle featuring Ostrich, Brock, and himself.
Yeah, Douglas Curry not really having the race he was hoping for with what was going on earlier, but pick it up, Adam Ostrich, Devin Brock, a good close battle. We're coming up through the S's here, just coming up through the end of them. Devin Brock looking to take advantage of Adam Ostrich, and look at those drivers cutting the whole corner on that section. And wow, I don't know if I'm guessing that might have been an off track there, but once again you said, whoa, getting up into the back here. Devin Brock applying huge pressure on Adam Ostrich, but that compromises his exit. To make it difficult to make a pass at the end of the straightaway now.
Yeah, that's definitely going to cost Brock a 10th or 2 heading out of that exit. But see the Acura maybe a touch quicker in a straight line than the Porsche. Brock also utilizing the draft of the Porsche up ahead. Adam Ostrich closed down that gap, but not able to make a move yet into that turn there. But looks like Blake Zeedy, Sean Carmody are going to stay out for another lap as their teammates Stadnik, Sircone, and Feliz have all come into the pits for service. So we'll see if Carmody and Zeedy and Carmody hopefully have enough fuel to make this extra lap, as the rest of our top 10, except for the likes of Kevin Simpson, have come in for their service. So I suspect this should be the final lap of fuel they have in those cars.
Yeah, it's nice to see our driver of the day sitting in second place right now. Blake Zeedy having a great run thus far. We'll see where he cycles out once the pit strategy and everybody's pitted. Sean Carmody all over the tail of him. These two drivers, like I said, there are just 4 cars left to pit so far. We've got him, these two guys, Kevin Simpson and Emmett Lindquist, the only 4 drivers not having pitted yet.
Yeah, we can take a quick look there. You can see on screen the various pit lane times. So that's cone to cone times from our drivers. So see most of the drivers in around the low 36s to high 35s. We actually got David Mendonça 34.3, our quickest time in and out of the pits. We've seen him traditionally week in to week out being one of our quickest cars in and off the pit lane. So that's what Kevin Simpson has to shoot for out front, but he's got enough of a gap here now where he doesn't really need to break it down to tenths of a second here. He can take a little bit extra fuel, make sure he gets it to the finish line comfortably.
Yeah, he doesn't quite have enough time to take tires, but Kevin has done a fabulous job thus far, and really, really looking forward to seeing how he finishes off this race. Luis Grion, meanwhile, battling hard, trying to make up a little bit of a recovery. He's only down 4 positions from his start now, all over the back and giving a little bit of a push wow, a little bit of a push there, and not sure what's going on. It looks like Jim Feliz may have almost looks like he might have hit the pit limiter, because he had the red light flashing on behind of his car there.
Yeah,
or maybe he hit his pit limiter button by mistake, and that's what caused the issue.
I think that's what happened there. As you mentioned, we saw the pit limiter button going there a number of times for Feliz. So wonder if that was just a hardware issue, or he just, like you mentioned, he just slipped and hit it. But it looks like it took him a couple of moments to get it remedied there. But unfortunately for Feliz, that's going to drop him all the way back to a 10th spot, as their teammates Ziti and Carmody have come in for their service now. Looks like the two of them battling off pit line. You don't see teammates doing that too often. Rich going side by side, exiting pit road, but it looks like Ziti going to hold on to that spot from Sean Carmody.
Well, they're cousins of teammates, or they're brother teammates. So maybe they're going to battle a little harder than if they were both on the SRTE black or the SRTE orange cars. Meanwhile, these two guys having a great battle the last several laps, all the way through pit lane, all the way through pit exit, and resuming right again. Blake Ziti picking back up in 4th place, up 4 positions, but Sean Carmody all over the back of him as they come through the end of the S section.
Yeah, excellent battle going on between these two drivers here. Right now, Ziti holding off the charge of Carmody up ahead. Looks like Carmody going to look to the inside. Ziti went a little wide, opened up the door a bit for Carmody, but they can't really battle all that much. Luis Grullon has been charging back up through the field. We saw early on, yeah, that incident dropped him back a number of spots. He qualified in 4th place, currently got himself up into 6th, down 2 spots from where he qualified. He'd love to get himself back up to where he qualified, and those 2 positions are just ahead of him in the form of Ziti and Carmody.
Yeah, we're coming down, though. We've only got 6 minutes left, so we've got 3.5 to 4 laps left, and Luis Grion wants to get back up to finish him 4th. He's going to have to start making some moves quickly, hoping for the teammates to battle against each other. If the teammates are smart, or the cousin teammates are smart, they won't battle too hard, and they'll try and pull a little bit of a gap on Luis Grion before maybe giving it a big go on the final lap to see who's the victor.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to have to take a look at the official driver rankings. For some reason, it looks like Blake Ziti is showing with the pro banner on his front windshield, but according to my record, Ziti should actually be in the AM category, so I'm not sure why he has an orange banner on the windshield of that machine out there, but we'll see if we can get that fixed up for next week. But right now, he's still battling Sean Carmody for 4th and 5th place, but as they battle, Luis Grullon edging ever so closer to this battle.
Yeah, Luis has had some great pace all night long. He's been down into the mid 206s. The 2 drivers ahead of him have not. They've been stuck in the 207s, so Luis is not content with 6th place. He wants 4th.
Yeah, no doubt. Still trying to put the push forward, but looks like something's happened to Luis's teammate, Ivan Bassono. See if we can take a quick look here and see what happened to Bassono. Looks like he's down a little bit on pace heading into the penultimate corner. Oh, he's just going to turn in a little sharp, catch that turtle curb. Gets it gathered back up, but that's going to cost him a ton of time.
Yeah, a little bit of oversteer there. The nose dug in and turned a little sharper than he wanted. The back end went around, and that's all it took. Meanwhile, Joey Costello sitting in 7th right now. Joey has got Nanny Tavares behind him. And Nanny is nice to see him back. I think we lost him for a couple of weeks. Jim Feliz following behind them.
Yeah, Jim Feliz trying to recover from that pit limiter incident we saw earlier on, but putting a ton of pressure on the back of Tavares right now. We saw Feliz battling Tavares' teammate last week, Fernando Jaquez. Jaquez down in 12th place, so right now Tavares trying to lead the charge for that CRT Chabao team, but Feliz trying to recover back to gain those spots back he lost earlier on. But right now, after the pit cycles have cycled through, Rich, most of our drivers only maybe up or down 1 or 2 spots from where they qualified. Blake Ziti up into 4th is our biggest mover, up 4 spots.
Yeah, Blake, our driver of the day, as we say, Rob. up 4 positions, having a great race thus far. Good job, Blake. Jim Feliz really charging hard now. Jim wanting those spots back, not happy with the incident a couple laps ago, and all over the back of Nanny Tavares. Let's see if he's got enough, and he's going to try and make a dive up the inside. Sticks the nose out, wisely tucks back in, just didn't have enough or any overlap there to get the job done.
Yeah, unfortunate for Fleas. Couldn't get the run done. He's looking to the outside into turn 2 as they head into the S's now. I'm not sure if Fleas will have enough of a run to make a move. You see, there goes Carmody and ZD up ahead with Gruillon in tow. Here comes Feliz, Tavares, and Josh Spears tucked in on the back of that battle now too as well in the SimCity Porsche. So 3-car battle now between Tavares, Feliz, and Spears for 8th place.
Yeah, we're over 37 minutes into this race, and we've still got some great battles going on. Not in the top 3, but 4th, 5th, and 6th here. We've got Blake Ziti still holding off Sean Carmody. Sean Carmody holding off Luis Gruillon. 3 drivers here have been battling for the last several laps, especially these 2 guys. These 2 guys have been pretty much nose to tail for the better part of 10 laps now, I believe, Rob, and still charging hard with just about a lap and a half remaining. Not much time left if Carmody wants to get that move done over Blake.
Yeah, well, they've continued to battle. That's allowed Luis Gruillon to close that gap. Now it's a 3-car battle for 4th place. Our top 3, status quo from where they qualified. Simpson, massive gap over 2nd place, 12 seconds over Matt Stadnik in 2nd place. Corey Saccone another 6 seconds back of Stadnik. So they've been kind of static from where they qualified, maintaining their qualifying position. So we'll stick with this battle here as it is still our tightest battle on track right now. Is Edie holding off the charge from Carmody, but Carmody might be under pressure from Gruillon here as they head into the final corner. This should be the final lap there. Barney waving the white flag. This will be the last time by for this battle to take 4th place, currently held down by Blake Ziti. We'll see if Ziti's able to hold off the charge from teammate Sean Carmody and Luis Gruillon in the CRT battle car.
Yeah, it's nice to see Barney back working after being on strike for us for a few races and actually waving the flag, giving us an indication of what's going on. Blake Ziti taking it very wide. Carmody taking the inside line. Both these drivers trying to hold off Luis Gruillon. Blake Ziti, though, really wanting to keep hold of that 4th place, but Sean Carmody wanting none of that. Gruillon just sitting there waiting to pounce.
Yeah, Gruillon's kind of fallen back a little bit through the S's where Carmody closed up on the back of Ziti's rear bumper. So we'll see if Carmody gets close enough to make a move. It might be a matter now whether you kind of debate making the move on a teammate, sister teammate up ahead, and a capital or possibly costing the 2 of them a number of positions if something were to happen between them where Luis Gruillon can pounce. So we'll see what kind of plays out here, what kind of strategy Carmody's thinking about. Right now he is in the catbird seat as he's getting the draft off Blake Ziti up ahead. We're not sure he's going to get enough of a run to make a move. Hasn't stuck the nose out yet, so he's staying tucked in behind Ziti. That's going to force Gruillon to stay back where he is, so it looks like they might just be finishing where they are with Blake Ziti in 4th and Sean Carmody rounding up the top 5. A couple more corners to go for Carmody to make a move, but let's pop back up here quickly with our leader, Kevin Simpson, as he's heading into the penultimate corner here. One more corner to go, and Kevin Simpson's going to bring it home. Green to checker here at Coda in round 6 of the Throttle Freaks Sprint Series. Well done by Kevin Simpson. He told us he was going to be strong here. He held true to what he said. Great run for him. So drop back here to see Matt Stadnik out of the final corner. He's going to be our top AM driver. And coming across the line as well for him. Nicely done by Stadnik. Corey Saccone going to bring it home in 3rd place. We see Ziti and Carmody out of the final corner. Carmody getting loose, trying to find a way around Ziti. Ziti's going to hold on to P4. Oh, looks like Ziti was just able to hold Carmody off at the line.
Wow.
it was a matter of inches at the line there as Carmody looked to the outside. Couldn't quite get that move done, but look back here. Ostrich and Brock look like Ostrich is going to hold off Brock as it stands. Douglas Curry going to lead Pete Mejia ahead of Fernando Torres and Artie Mercedes. And then our
It
final
doesn't matter
driver,
matter
Ivan
how far
Bassano.
you finish ahead of the guy, as long as you finish ahead of him, as we watch Ivan Bassano coming across the line in 20th.
Yeah, and Ivan, our last car. All our drivers finishing on the lead lap, so nicely done. Everybody saw the checkered flag, so not too often, Rich, where we have every single one of our drivers making it to the final run. So that's what we
No,
enjoy seeing.
I don't think we're going to see that next week at Road Atlanta, Rob. Coda gave lots of wide track bursts and lots of opportunities for avoiding crashes. So let's take a look at the results here, Rob.
Yeah, Kevin Simpson, as we mentioned, brings it home pole to pole, 10 seconds over Matt Stadnick in second place, Corey Sircone in third, rounding out the podium, Blake Seedy in fourth, also our driver of the day nominee, Sean Carmody in fifth, tried to make the move on Ziti at the last lap, just couldn't get it done. He's got to settle for last spot in the top five. Luis Grullo in sixth, nice recovery for him. Joey Costello in seventh, Nenea Tavares in eighth, Jim Feliz in ninth, Josh Spears going to round out the top 10, Emmett Lindquist in 11th, Fernando Jaquez 12th, David Mendonça recovers up to 13th, Adam Ostrich in 14th, Devin Brock 15th, Douglas Curry in 16th, holding off Pete Mejia, Fernando Torres, Artie Mercedes, and Ivan Bassano going to round out the field.
Can we just leave that on the screen for a second, Rob? Sorry. I'm a little,
we most
well, maybe
certainly
too
can,
late.
Rich.
Yeah, I'm just noticing something. We had a pro in first, second to seventh, all amateurs, 8th to 13th, all pros, and then the rest of the field, all amateurs. We had a bunch of different groupings there, and it just goes to show you how good these amateurs are against the pros.
Yeah, well done by everyone involved. Definitely, it was a great race out there this evening. It's definitely what we want to see out there from all of our drivers, Rich. But hopefully, we get another strong showing next week at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, let's hope so.
But it looks like we got a couple drivers in the booth waiting to chat. Let's see if we can bring in Corey Sircone here early on, and we'll have Rich have a chat with our third place finisher overall, Corey Sircone.
Corey,
Hey, how you guys doing?
congratulations on the podium. We're
Thank you.
doing well. You had a strong race tonight, strong pace, strong qualifying effort. How'd it go for you?
It went better than I expected, to be honest. But I mean, I think I practiced more for this track than any other track, so I'm glad it paid off for me. But yeah, it was a lot of fun out there.
I was going to ask, are you a Coda fan, or were you before, and are you now?
Honestly, the only time I've ever raced this before this week was in F1 2020, something like that, 2023
Okay.
maybe. So I literally just bought this track last Monday.
Well, a fabulous job, because I've raced at Coda many times in GT cars and in Formula cars, and it's not an easy track to learn, and you got to get in a groove, and you definitely did that tonight. It's nice to see you back on top and back on the podium. That's certainly going to help your championship efforts. How's Road Atlanta for you? Are you looking forward to that track?
That's another one for me. I've only got maybe 3, 4 laps in a GT3 car. I've only raced that track in the LMP2, so we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Well, congratulations once again. Anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Just thanking the team, helping out this week, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of SRT guys up there at the top.
Yeah, well, if you're learning a new track, yeah, you seem to be on the right team for that. Congratulations. We'll see you next week, Corey.
All right, thank you guys.
Okay, that was our third place finisher, Corey Sircone. Let's bring in our second place finisher, Matt Stadnick. Matt,
Hey.
well done. Looks like you top three, kind of just finished up where they qualified. So you had the pace to get yourself into second place, but it looks like Kevin Simpson just had the right car, right track combo. It looks like you were the only Porsche in the top five. So how was it out there in the Porsche tonight?
Not bad, not bad. It feels good after the last two races. I felt like I had the pace, but just couldn't put the quality in the race together. So it was sort of nice to redeem myself and come back and put a good lap in and then start at the front again. But the Porsche felt good. Just Kevin just was he was blistering fast out there. There was really no trying to reel him in. He just sort of took off, and around here you burn up tires easy trying to push too hard, so wasn't really worth it. It was just sort of just get in the pocket and you know just race your own race and watch your delta for anybody coming up behind you. So
Yeah, definitely. Well done putting the Porsche in second spot. Next week we head to Road Atlanta, a drastically different track than Coda. Generally, it's a track that most iRacers are familiar with, just from the sheer amount of series that head to Road Atlanta, as well as almost every league and that features GT3 machinery heads there. How are you feeling? Comfort level heading into Road Atlanta next week with the
I
911?
love Road Atlanta, but Road Atlanta can bite. So um you know, it's gonna be a lot of fun, but um I feel quick there. I have been quick there, but boy, you do one lift wrong or you just hit a curb just right and it'll bite you pretty quick. So we're gonna hope for that not to happen next week. But yeah, I'm excited for Road Atlanta. It's one of my favorites for sure.
Definitely. Congrats on the second spot. Anyway, you want to shout out, Matt, before we let you move on?
Yeah, big shout out to SRT, Blake, Corey, Jim, Joey, Sean, all those guys that we practiced so hard, and I think it's starting to show off, so it feels good.
Yeah, definitely. Strong showing by the SRT various teams here tonight. Congrats on P2, Matt, and best of luck next week at Road Atlanta.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Take care. So that was our second place finisher, Matt Stadnick. Let's see if Richard Swindell is caught up with Kevin Simpson, our pole-to-pole winner here tonight.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm not going to say you promised us a victory last week, but you certainly indicated that you were very comfortable here, and you showed it. Man, that was quite the performance. I don't even know what to say. What would you like to tell us about tonight's race?
Well, it's bittersweet. Number one, I mean, I seem to be the only one that really likes this track, which is unfortunate because
Hey, I don't mind it myself, Kevin, but I'm not good at it like you are.
the participation is a little bit lower. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop driving that track every time it comes up. I'm gonna do it as much as I possibly can. I really enjoy it. There's no matter how many times I race that, I find something. And there's always somebody quicker, in officials. So I really enjoy racing that track. But unfortunately, I think I'm the only one.
Well, your time in qualifying really showed how much you've raced this track, how much you enjoy this track, and how well you do at it. And then, your over 10-second gap to second place for victory really pushed home the point. So, hey, if you're gonna like a track, at least win at it, and you did it. So, back weeks we get to interview you. Next week we go to Road Atlanta. What are your thoughts on Road Atlanta next week?
Well, see, Road Atlanta is a different story because I'm, out of the Soul Pec guys, I'm probably the third quickest. Mendonca's a beast. Emmett Lindquist, while he may not have the quality, the qualifying pace, his race pace on that track is exceptional. And I don't know if you've watched that guy race, Emmett, and he don't like waiting around. You know what I mean? He's sending it.
We noticed tonight.
He is going forward. That guy does, he's an exceptional. He's got exceptional racecraft as well. He's not a dirty racer, but he's very aggressive. So I got my work cut out for him. Not only are all these SRT guys, especially if their amateurs, are just off the chart. This Matt Stadnick guy, he's incredible, man. For an AM, he's just like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I saw a 7K dude with Matt Stadnick, and what's weird is you never see those two dudes together. So I think, anyway, no, I mean, I kid, but all those SRT guys, even though they're AMs, they're formidable, and they work together, they practice hard, and it's gonna be it's going to be tough next week. Now I've got decent pace at Road Atlanta, so I feel comfortable in my pace there. But shoot, if I can finish in the top 3 amongst the Precision Racing drivers, then I feel good.
Yeah, well, that nice team battle you guys got going on with the SRTE Orange team. It's looks like it's gonna keep going on, and we're gonna see what happens through the remainder of the season. Congratulations! Anybody you'd like to shout out to?
Yeah, you guys do an outstanding job on your broadcasts, and it's nice to watch you guys. You guys do an excellent job. So I want to shout out to you guys.
Well, thanks a lot, Kevin. Congratulations. We'll see you next week, and thanks for the show tonight.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys. See you next week.
That was our race winner, Kevin Simpson, and no word of a lie, he just earned himself some more TV time. Anytime you want to shout out the broadcast team, that's going to definitely do it for you. But we have one more driver waiting in the chat here.
Yes,
Rich.
Yes.
Let's bring in our driver of the day, our proclaimed driver of the day.
Driver of the day,
Blake Zeedy. Blake, P4. First off, congrats, well done. Tell us how your race went.
Thanks, guys. How's it going tonight? The race went well. I can't complain too much. I had a bunch of familiar faces in front of me, which felt good. So it just felt like another day there in the week for us.
No doubt. Looks like your sister team driver Sean Carmody was really kind of pushing you after the pit cycles there, really trying to push you forward, trying to make a move on the last lap. He almost got you on the line. I don't know if you ran out of fuel there or not. Looks like you came out of the final corner a little off pace or not, but he wasn't quite able to get you at the line. We watched at the very last second. You were able to hold on to that spot. So was Sean just kind of playing with you there? Did you guys have any kind of communication going on what your plan was going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Fortunately, Sean's actually one of my best friends in reality, so I could trust him. And although I did leave the door open a few times, I knew he wasn't going to drive it in to a point where either it was going to jeopardize our race together or even just give up time to someone in the running behind us. So we kind of in the cahoots that, if I really mess up, obviously take the line, I'll let you have it. But we were kind of running similar paces, and it seemed like I had stronger points on the track and that he would catch me on maybe closer to the back half of it. So it was just like a yo-yo effect, I think, most of the race for us, which was actually a lot of fun for us.
Well done. It definitely was food for fodder for the broadcast towards the end, watching the two of you wondering if something was going to happen. I don't know how many times I've been wrecked by one of my good friends on track, namely the guy in the booth here with me too as well. He's taking me out a time or two, but we got to touch on your profile picture, Blake. I'm not sure if it's something new you just added this week or if I didn't catch it in the weeks forward, but playing into the Baked Zeedy name, we see you holding a box of pasta. Tell us about that.
Oh man, I've actually I'm not familiar with the picture that you're referring to. So is it the cartoon kind of, or is it?
It's
Oh no, I know what you're talking about. Yes, I uploaded it to my driver profile. Correct. Yes, it's a little ongoing joke for us over here. Yeah, we like our pasta. I'm Italian, so we like to eat it.
And no doubt we've got it on. So if you watch the broadcast back, you'll see it a number of times. You'll actually hear when I clue in to actually seeing it, and I make Rich aware. So we know it's a name that's kind of gone back into the PRL days, early PRL days, back when I was running GT3. Where I think it was Joey
right.
Tebben made the slip up and actually slipped out Baked Zeedy on broadcast. It's kind of stuck with you since then. But we head to Road Atlanta next week. How are you and the SRTE guys feeling about that?
Well, I'm sure we'll get our practice in. I actually haven't drove that track, Road of America, and the GT3, probably since they actually updated the cars. So quite a bit of time that I've been out of the GT3 on that track. We're looking forward to it, getting familiar again, and finding all the little details and track points that we need to be at to make our time.
Well, excellent. Best of luck to you. Anybody you want to shout out, Blake, before we let you go?
Absolutely, guys. Thank you. First of all, thank you guys for running a great show here, and just a shout out to my team, SRT. We actually do put a lot of time in during the week. Most of it's just like getting together and back and forth, but obviously giving each other feedback and seeing the improvements. So just thanks to my team, Jared Keen, for putting on everything, hosting rooms for us during the week. It's been really fun to be a part of the team here. So thank you guys.
Excellent. Well done, Blake. We hope the best for you next week at Road Atlanta, and take care.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
So that was Blake Ziti, our fourth place driver and driver of the day, Rich. So that's going to do it here for COTA for round number 6 of the Throttle Freaks GT3 Sprint and Fix Series, the race we saw earlier on. Next week, we head to Road Atlanta. Should be a ton of fun. We're looking forward to that one. It's definitely a favorite of mine, favorite of Rich's as well. So for myself and Richard Swindells, we will see you next week. Bye for now.
Good night.